What's going on, world? We are here to talk about the Raw exclusive pay-per-view, WWE TLC, Tables, Ladders, and Chairs. As always, it's C Moody here with D Moody. We are Sports Moves, two Moodies,
one duty,
sports. Let's get into it. What's going on, guys? We are here to talk about TLC. And before we get to the matches specifically, D Moody, how did this pay-per-view make you feel? What mood did it put you in? Really, man? Not again. Was it? I'm gonna ask for your rating, of course, later on, but
it was just a hot mess.
Really?
Yeah. It's a hot mess.
Wow.
It was just like I honestly think me and you could have put together a better card, a better show than what the WWE gave us on Sunday night.
Come on, man.
It really wasn't a lot of big hype going into it. I mean, I know the Shield coming back, and no one could have foresaw the viral meningitis, the infection that was kind of going around. That's understandable. I mean, because that's some things you just can't control. So, I mean, if people weren't physically able to come out and perform, that's one thing. But I still think if it would have been the same, we would have gotten the same type of pay-per-view. Even if Roman would have wrestled, even if Bray comes out and whatever he was going to be with Sister Abigail. I mean, I just felt this pay-per-view just was not a really good pay-per-view. It just did not do anything for me. It was... As I'm sitting here watching it, I mean, matter of fact, I'm trying to watch this and the Sunday Night Football game with the Patriots and the Falcons. So I'm like, okay. So I got my MacBook here with the WWE TLC, and I'm on my TV. I'm looking at Patriots, and there were times where I just wasn't even watching it. It was just noise in the background for me.
I can't believe it.
And usually I multitask really well. Like I can look at two things at one time and see what's going on, and I'm like, oh, hey, okay, they just did that. Okay, they just scored a touchdown here. Man, that was a nice drop kick there by Finn Balor. I can look at two things at once, but it was just like my attention just could not stay on this show.
What is wrong with you, man?
It was terrible, man. What did it do for you? Because I know you're always the positive guy. You try to take the positives out of everything. And are you kidding me?
I mean...
Oh, this should be great.
Now, I will say this. Now, somebody, in retrospect to this match, even before we get into it, like D. Moody mentioned, due to a viral meningitis infection, disease, sickness, whatever going on in the locker room, Roman Reigns wasn't able to be in part of his match with the rest of his Shield against against The Miz, Sheamus and Cesaro, The Bar, BRAUN, STROWMAN, and Kane. And that was replaced with Kurt Angle. And then, of course, the Finn Balor, Bray Wyatt, Sister Abigail, Demon King match didn't happen because Bray Wyatt's also suffering with meningitis. So instead, we got the phenomenal AJ Styles,
which I was happy with that.
Right, but like I said, in retrospect, what I realized is for this to be a TLC pay-per-view, we had no TLC match. And for that...
it didn't have a TLC feel to it. The only TLC match was the ending match.
The one that they called a TLC match, but it was no TLC environment. So then how could you open up with an applause for them?
Just
because honestly, that might be my only negative. Now, it's the big negative
the BALOR
for me.
And Styles is what really had my interest.
But you know, I'm going to tell you what up. It's another match that I must say had my interest because it shocked me. It wasn't what I expected it to be. And I'm going to get into
Emma,
it.
Right?
Yeah.
And I got a lot to say about that too.
Okay.
But that's what I'm saying. You bring up a good point. How do you have a TLC match and not have any type of hardcore matches?
Like hearing that disappoints me now. Like so, and I'm trying, like you said, I try to look at the benefit of how the rest of the match's quality was. But for it to be such a specific named pay-per-view TLC, you're supposed to have a TLC match, and not just like how they called the main event TLC, which really just could have been called no disqualification.
Pretty much.
That's just,
count anywhere.
Right. There was no real utilization of a ladder for a purpose of a TLC match.
Because what were they fighting for?
Exactly. Because for me, when you say TLC, there's some kind of belt hanging up top, and it's just the fact that it's a ladder match with the actual legal use of chairs and tables. And so this was just really, like I said, just really a no disqualification match, which goes back to what I said should have happened. Should have been like, hey, Miz, you want to add all these people? Well, now your title has to hang up there. And since you already got the Shield in there, they're putting their title up there. And it should have been all those titles unanimously hanging on that little triangle looking thing they have up there, that gigantic hanger. And they fight for that. That would have made a lot more sense. And it would have... If they would have just done that, I wouldn't have had any kind of that for the match, for the pay-per-view.
And I don't even think I would have been excited about that because at that point, Roman's not in the match. So if Seth or Dean or Kurt pulls down the Intercontinental belt, who's the Intercontinental Champion?
He gives it to Roman. He's the GM.
No, Roman's not in the match.
He gives it to Roman.
No,
and then,
you can't do that.
Look, this is what happened. He gives it to Roman because Kurt's the GM. And then he gives Miz and Roman the pay-per-view one-on-one to just solidify it. Or Kurt just says, I strip you of it. It's like, since you got all these people.
Contest.
Exactly. And now they revamps who's going to win it.
Some kind of tournament or something.
So, okay. I won't just say Kurt gives it to Roman.
Give him enough as it is. Give Roman enough as it is.
Here we go, man.
He's the golden child, so
here we go.
Don't just give it to him.
Here we go, man.
But it was, like you said, man, it was just, other than just the BALOR and Styles, and I was glad to see BALOR and Styles. We'll get into them a little later, but I would have rather see it on for a different situation, like for a belt, at a big pay-per-view. Didn't even have to be WrestleMania. It could have been any other big
Survivor Series.
That's a
Raw, SmackDown,
or yeah, something like that. But I understand for what was going on, they had to try to, you can't cancel the entire show because 2 or 3 wrestlers can't show up. I mean, but I just thought they would have been more creative instead of throwing Kurt Angle into a match like that. They could have pulled someone else. I
like that though.
I didn't. I didn't really do much for me because I knew Kurt Angle was going to come back and wrestle eventually because every year with the video game, it's always like the year they had Sting. You could play with Sting. Sting came back, and the year you could be Goldberg. Goldberg came back. Right. So I knew eventually Kurt Angle was going to possibly get into a match because a lot of people were saying it was rumored that him and Triple H would have some kind of match or something coming up, but I just didn't. I just thought it was just too soon right now.
This is a random pop since you brought up Triple H. I heard through Wrestle Talk TV on YouTube that Triple H and The Rock have been discussing the WrestleMania match. Possibly is just like what they were saying was Triple H is saying that of course they have to sit down and talk about it, but of course Rock has that gigantic schedule now. Yeah. So if they can make that happen,
because you remember what happened a couple WrestleManias ago Remember with the whole Ronda Rousey thing?
Right.
And her and The
Her and The
Rock
Rock.
kind of went at Triple H and Stephanie.
Yeah.
So I've always loved The Rock and Triple H's rivalries. Back even before they were even feuding for the WWE Championship, they would always go back and forth with the Intercontinental belt. When The Rock was in the Nation and Triple H was DX, they had their battles then. And then it just kind of, as they became up on the main roster after like Shawn Michaels went out for a couple of years, then Triple H kind of got pushed up to the main guy, and then The Rock became the main guy, and then they started battling then. But but let's go ahead and get into it, and figure out what kind of mood this whole thing put me in. I guess we'll be hearing a lot of this throughout this podcast.
So the first match was the Emma, the Women's Revolution starter, versus the debut of Asuka. And honestly, and this is why I give it this. This is why this match put me in a great mood, because I truly expected a squash match. Even at this pay-per-view.
That's what it should have been.
That's what I expected. But they truly packaged Emma as someone way stronger than what we've seen. But it
didn't make Asuka look strong. That doesn't look good for Asuka. I mean, you got a lady.
That's true.
I mean, not lady. A competitor here who's been a 500-something day reign as a champion, never lost, pretty much had to relinquish her title due to an injury.
Right.
And we're going to build her like this. Look how Emma has looked against all the other competitors on Raw opposed to Asuka.
But she had been winning at the end of it.
Say that again?
I said, but she had been winning at the end of it.
She's been kind of winning, but it's just not like she had no reason to go that long as she went with Asuka. Asuka should have dominated her from ground zero. But go ahead and continue.
Yeah. I guess in that aspect,
Because you see, I mean, look how Emma looked just on a regular basis. We hardly see Emma, but when we see her, she's always like a filler type of wrestler. She's just that person they throw in there when Bayley was out hurt, or it's just she looked. I mean, I'm not saying it wasn't a great match. I'll say
it was a good match, but yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, but it was just like, I understand they may want to build Emma up strong against Asuka, but it's just like, this is Asuka. This is Asuka. Everybody that stepped in front of her. As a matter of fact, their match, I don't know if you ever seen it, but their match they had in NXT was a lot better than the one I saw at
Really?
TLC. So if you ever go back, which I know you have the network, go back and look at Asuka versus Emma back in NXT, and you'll see a totally different Emma than what you see right now. Emma was billed better in NXT. She was a better competitor. She was a better heel. She was, they did everything right for her to build her character the way it should be. But now when you look at her, you're like, this is not even close to what she was when she first came in.
Right.
But, I mean, I'll let you go. I didn't mean to take over your
No.
spotlight there. It's just, I just didn't agree with how they did it.
Okay. No, I get it, because at the end, it really made Emma look stronger. Like, that was the sole purpose, because we came into this match expecting Emma to win. Now,
No, we did.
I mean, not Emma. I mean, Asuka to win. We expect, Now, no one expected Emma to win. Yeah, we expected Asuka. Excuse me. We
saw your face.
everybody expected Asuka to win, not Emma. Nobody had any hope in Emma coming into this match.
Emma felt she was going to win.
No, but like you said, since now you said they had a better match, I feel like maybe they said, they allowed Emma to kind of repackage as that NXT rivalry they had, or so. But so it didn't change Asuka for me, like you said.
It didn't,
but like you said, the only benefit from this, the only gain of this match was Emma's looking stronger. Like now, like I'm like, oh snap! Like Emma,
because you even proposed that Asuka hurt Emma, like Emma be gone for.
Yeah, that's what I wanted.
This match, like a couple of months, like you don't even see Emma.
Yeah.
Oh, we haven't seen Emma since her match with Asuka. Like Asuka really, did this or that to her.
Then they could have repackaged her as the stronger Emma,
or they could have did this like what JD from MY206 from YouTube was saying, he was saying they never mentioned the fact of Asuka being hurt and having to relinquish her belt. They could have played that off the fact that's why Emma was able to really look strong against Asuka, because they never mentioned the fact that Asuka had the collarbone issue and having to come back. This is her first match since relinquishing the belt due to injury. Like they just built her up as, she's had this title reign for 500 or so years. She's this unbeatable force.
And they just said she retired it.
Yeah. So they never built it off of, they didn't do a continuation of what they did in NXT.
Right.
So they could have built it off that, and maybe, at that point, Emma does look a little strong because Asuka's not 100%, even though she could be 100%, but we don't have to know that.
True.
And they could play it off that, but they didn't, so... Good for Emma, but I mean, it doesn't make or break Asuka. But I just felt like they built her up so like she was just gonna come in and just destroy Emma, and that wasn't the case.
And I was hoping for that. I can say it. But like I said, for the match in general, I like the match because, like I said, I like that new side of Emma, but for it to be what it was supposed to be for Asuka, they probably should have made Emma look weaker, since they've been making her look weaker since she came back until the last 3 weeks of the thing, until this pay-per-view. But in the end, like I said, it was a strong match for Emma. She actually looked dominant, through a lot of the match, but of course Asuka had her build and she ended up winning with her submission. I don't know what it's called. The Asuka lock. Which
it's kind of like
looks really nasty, actually.
She wraps her legs around you and then kind of rears back and just.
And it's like she pulls one arm behind her too,
and you're just like, you're just kind of like a hot anaconda would wrap around you and suck the life out of you.
So, and for me personally, this has been like my second full match watching Asuka. The only other one I saw was when she defended her NXT in like a women's 4-way match. And honestly, I'm equally impressed between that 4-way match and this one. So it was good performance for her, but like I said, because of how Emma just looked like almost a totally new wrestler for this TLC. I mean, I guess I understand that it should have been more dominant by Asuka. So, but that's that match. Go ahead, Ad.
Just for the fact of how they made Emma look.
I like it. They should have. Of course, they should have done this sooner.
But they actually, we have to qualify to fight Asuka. So,
and even that was a cheap shot for Emma. Like Emma just took advantage of Sasha not taking out 2 women.
So it wasn't like she looked strong in that fatal 5-way.
Exactly.
So she just barely scored a victory. But
they should have made her look strong there. So, but yeah, like I said, they didn't. But I like this Emma. Like now, I mean, I could feel like, they did wrestle. I think wrestled on Monday night. They had a rematch.
No,
they didn't have a rematch Monday. I thought they did.
No, Asuka. I don't think did they.
I have to go back and watch because, like I said, I haven't watched Raw.
Power was out, so like part of the recording for me from Monday Night Raw due to a storm we had was out. So
I know there's a part for me
at
too.
The part where Elias was in the ring, so I only got like an hour and a half.
That's how mine did. But I got the first half. I got a little bit of the first half. Then it was a pause, and then it jumps to Elias Jason. That's how mine is. So there was a storm for us. So we're gonna have to look up some of that little missing part for us, but we'll retrack on that. But next, before we get to the next match, they had a situation where The Miz was backstage with Cesaro and Sheamus, and he's complaining now about Kurt Angle adding himself into the match, and it's just him saying that Kurt Angle's just being selfish. He could have added all these other people, but he just wants to steal the glory. He did?
Actually, they did. Asuka did fight Emma on Raw.
Okay, I felt like I saw that.
And beat her again.
So, I don't remember how.
I don't know what the difference was between what they did at TLC versus the Raw match, because again, I wasn't able to see it due to the power being
I think she still won with the Asuka lock again, but I can't remember how good or bad Emma looked this on Raw versus how she looked at TLC. But like I said, I know I have that part 'cause I felt like I saw it, but I was sleepy when I was trying to watch it, so I'll try and watch it again. But so the Miz is complaining about Kurt Angle, and here comes Braun saying that he's gonna destroy everybody and just make sure everybody stays out of his way. Mm-hmm. And when he says that, Kane comes in and says that I'm gonna do what I want. And so when I saw that happen, I knew right there that I was like,
it's gonna be some kind of,
they're gonna have an altercation, and it's just everything made sense. I was like, okay, Kane's back and Braun's back. They're about to have this beef. They're gonna start a feud. I saw the whole storyline at that moment for me, and so, but of course they both go out, and so the Miz, Sheamus, and Cesaro, they're back there. And they do their shield fist together. And then while they're doing the shield fist, Miz takes Kurt Angle's line. He was, "Oh, it's true. It's dang true." So the Miz is just great at just aggravating me so bad. He's just a great heel. And it really feels real how disrespectful he is, I must admit.
Like it comes from, like you said, you genuinely feel that way.
Right. So and then also something else happened before a match. We almost have just as much backstage as we do matches, because now Elias is out on the ramp this time trying to perform. Then all of a sudden someone starts throwing something at him. And honestly, I didn't see what the first thing was. So when they threw it, and he paused and was like, "Not cool." And I was like, did a fan really throw something at him?
Yeah. And
so, but I didn't realize he was on the ramp either. And so that's when I start seeing more, and he's just somebody throwing fruits and vegetables at this man. And then they look back, and they show us Jason Jordan with the whole shopping cart of fruits, which was awkward.
I only saw that in cartoons, or
right?
In old shows. Did people actually bring vegetables and stuff to shows, to performances and stuff?
That's what they make it seem.
And if people didn't perform well, did they throw carrots and celery and
right?
People, get off the stage?
I mean, like you said, that's something I've seen in cartoons. Yeah, maybe they really did back in the day. Because like I said, I did see it a lot in cartoons, so maybe that means something. But I felt well, of course we know Jason Jordan's mic skills aren't great. But I felt like that should have been a time where he can start saying something like "boo," just be
boo,
be real disrespectful about it. Yeah, because he's already being disrespectful throwing something, but for him to just be smiling and just yeah, it's just I got the point, but it was just okay, sure, this happened, and then Elias just walks off mad, and then Jason looks at the crowd. Everybody's cheering Jason, which is a good plug for him.
He should have came out with toilet paper. Sometimes people do stuff like that too with toilet paper.
Right.
That's symbolic of your trash or whatever. Off the stage.
So the crowd, it did get him over with the crowd. I think more so because the crowd just didn't want to hear Elias. Mm-hmm. So that was good. That was a good part for him. So now we have some cruiserweight action. We have the Brian Kendrick and the heel gentleman, Jack Gallagher, facing Cedric Alexander and Rich Swann. This was, you didn't like this? Yeah, Nate? Yeah. For me,
Rich Swann really didn't do much. He was
not really
kind of down most of the match. He didn't really.
But he had a really good point though. He had a really good part, and what I saw was when Brian tried to do his, I forgot the name of his submission on Cedric.
I forgot the name. It's don't tell me what it is. It's called the. I can remember it. Just keep talking. I can't remember what it is though.
Okay, so while we're just fast forwarding in the match. Captain's Hook.
That's what it's called.
While he's doing that on Cedric, Rich Swann hits a Phoenix Splash on him to break him off of that. And
that was big.
Yeah, that was a big part for me. And then it led to Cedric hitting his lumbar check. That's the name of that little finisher. Move, yeah. And for the W. So for me, I liked the match, but it was just a typical cruiserweight action.
For me, filler to me, like it is on Raw.
But cruiserweights in general have good matches. I haven't seen, to me personally, I haven't seen a bad cruiserweight match. Not saying do they hype it for me? No, they don't hype it enough. Like you said, it is a filler spot that they're using. But cruiserweight action for me is always good because they're always like flowing. Their flow is always pretty good. They always have them little big spots in the matches. Like I said before, the Phoenix Splash, breaking up submission. All of them pretty much have real good finishers in one way or another. So it was good, but it was as expected. Like I expect the cruiserweights to perform pretty
Gallagher
good.
And
Brian Kendrick.
Brian Kendrick to win because they're heels, and heels always find a way to
cheat away
a victory. I thought they would. I didn't think Alexander then would have a chance to win it clean.
I liked it though. I think maybe they're gonna do something else with the feud now. Maybe
I just don't,
because usually when a baby face wins, they're ending a feud almost. Mm-hmm. So I don't know, are they going to continue this little tag rivalry or how they're going to move with it?
Because what I'm trying to figure out, why is Jack Gallagher heel? Like, what is his purpose of being heel? What
Kendrick showed him the light.
What changed his mind? Because like I liked him when he was just who he was. Like pale, pasty skin, the colorful trunks. And he has his little umbrella, and he does his little thing on the top rope with his leg is in the air that he kicks you.
I can't believe, as much as you give slack about the face gimmicks,
I actually like that about it. Fits him.
I like the heel.
I don't like the
heel fits
fully
better.
Dressed in
I don't like that. I don't like that, but I like the heel gentleman Jack Gallagher. I do. Like I said, both of them were good to me. I did like him when he was the face, but he was more cartoony to me, just because
I liked it. He was like
a Mary Poppins jumping off with the umbrella.
It was weird. It was, and that's what made it different. Like everybody's like, and the people, the crowd loved him.
Yeah, that's true.
Of it. But it's just I don't understand where this is going with him.
I just don't like the whole full clothes. Like, why are we making him rest in an entire 2-piece suit with a vest and all this?
The vest and the pants and the boots. Like, it's look like he's.
But I get it because they said, I think Raw, they said something about him being like the British or something Street Fighter or brawler. So I guess they're trying to make it look like it's a real strong street. I guess. I mean, if you brawl, you're like getting right outside the bar. You're in the aisleway. I mean, you don't expect people to strip, take all your clothes off just to fight somebody.
Well, have raggedy clothes on.
I mean, but he's a gentleman.
Or all black.
He's still a gentleman. Maybe all black, but he's still a gentleman. So he has to look like just this brute.
But when he was the face, he wasn't just because he didn't dress like that. He just wore regular wrestling attire.
He did dress like that sometimes.
Sometimes, maybe if he wasn't competing or something,
right? And
you just saw him like backstage or something. But I don't know. That's just one of the things that's kind of. It was an okay match for me, but like I said, it wasn't nothing that was just like had my eyes like glued to it to watch it. So
it was a good match.
I was watching the Patriots game.
I expect that. Which also the Patriots won this week, so good job, Patriots.
It was okay win. The defense looked a lot better, but we'll get into that tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Got the win.
Yeah. So next we have the women's, finally a title match on TLC. We have the women's championship match between Mickie James and the champion, Alexa Bliss.
You know it's sad when the cruiserweights in the women's matches got to carry the pay-per-view. It's really bad. You have multiple women's matches and multiple cruiserweight matches at one pay-per-view.
But it's supposed to be that way.
That's not, because you don't have a Universal title match, you don't have the Intercontinental Championship match, you don't have a Tag Team Championship match. So it was just like, what are we doing? Is this just an exhibition? And is it not even a true...
No, man. Anyway, during the match, sorry about that. If the mic made a loud noise, it did fall. But
the mic agrees.
Whatever. In the beginning of the match, now I did like this one little part where they were just doing the normal tangle. They're trying to grab each other's arm. And so Alexa tried to pull her back down from her hair, and then Mickie James would do the little shoulder kip up thing, as Michael Cole calls it. She did it 3 times, and I thought
Mickie James is really limber. To be her age, she's flexible.
So I like that. That was a good spot for me. But I feel like this match in general, it was pretty good. I mean, they had they had good rallies in between each other. You could tell both of them kind of knew each other, and you saw some good reversals and all this stuff. Now, one thing they did have, Mickie did a really bad drop kick off the top rope. It looked botched to me because it really didn't look like she connected. It just looked like maybe she missed with her legs and her arm slapped her down. Like it was pretty bad to me. But either way,
you expect that in a woman's match. Just almost every woman's match is some kind of.
You're gonna have to make an apology letter pretty soon.
Why?
Talking about you expect that in a woman's match.
You do.
Did you not just hear what Cam did? What happened to Cam?
I'm sorry. I'm just saying that the level of creativity in the matches, it goes down when it comes to the women sometimes. It's like when Charlotte does that moonsault all the time.
Yeah.
Like, I'm for seeing great women's matches, but I'm not just going to be like, oh, that just didn't happen. She just didn't miss that moonsault. That was an awesome match. Like, it's beautiful to see Charlotte in the air doing it, but she never, the landing's never there. Yeah. And sometimes when you get high risk, they don't really connect on a lot of the quality of the match goes down.
I mean, they have to keep themselves safe, man.
That's going to actually hurt you worse if you don't hit the target sometimes.
That's true.
But I mean, if I hurt anyone, offended anyone by saying that you expect that in a women's match, I do apologize.
Just to go ahead and get that letter out.
Go ahead and get it out. Yeah.
So, back to the match. We have Mickie looking like she was going to win this. We have Alexa starting to look scared, crawling to the corner. And when Mickie finally goes over there, Alexa pulls her head first into the turnbuckle, and then she finally hits her with the whatever her finisher name is. It's a DDT. So I don't know what is there a name for her finisher?
I don't know.
The Bliss bomb, maybe. I don't know. I really don't.
I just know she just always hits that DDT.
Yeah.
For the win, and I figured she would win. I figured it would be the way that it came out to be because Alexa, she just kind of, she's not going to lose the belt right now. I think she's going to keep it for a little while here. I knew they were going to kind of build up Mickie James like almost win, get everybody on the edge of their seat thinking she's actually going to knock her off, but. Bliss is a survivor. Like I said a couple weeks, she finds ways to win even when she's not at her best to pull out wins. And she's done it on both brands, SmackDown Live. She's done it on Raw now. She's not as big as she should be. And maybe it's because a lot of times she takes the shortcut route to win.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I just didn't see her losing this match. No matter how strong they build Mickie James to look, I just felt that Bliss would find a way to get out of there with it.
Yeah.
And that's what you have to do a lot of times as a champion. You have to find ways to survive. Like, the good thing I like about her, she's not relying on anyone else to help her like a Jinder Mahal does. Like, so a lot of times she finds a way in that moment to outthink her opponent and use something to her advantage to win.
Right. And so, in defeat, they decide to interview her on the ring, which is weird to me. I feel why are we...
They've been doing that here lately.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't really like that. But they interviewed Mickie, and so Mickie was like, of course she wanted to win, but she's proud of her performance, and she hopes that this won't be the last time she, not only wrestles but gets a title shot, which I felt like she was saying that directly to WWE creative, like, hey, don't throw me at the end of the line because of this. Like, I'm showing you.
One more shot at it.
Yeah,
like she should, because all the rest of them do.
Right. She was like, I've shown you that I performed well and I can continue to perform well, so don't neglect me. So WWE creative, because that's what's happened to a lot of people, and we don't have Nia Jax because of it. So,
but I saw about. When you were saying that last week that they were saying those were just rumors, that it's not true, that Nia is still on board with the WWE.
Yeah, I don't think she quit. Yeah. I think she just was like, she just walked out because she was frustrated.
Yeah.
Because I saw too that they said that she's just taking a leave because of personal reasons.
Leave of absence or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think she'll be back. But I mean,
She got to ask the title. You know what? Now, what I would do, which will take a long time for, depending on how long Nia Jax is going to be gone. Mm-hmm. What I would do, the only way to make her come back at the right time is after Asuka wins the championship. Because now, exactly, because now Nia still has this big build. And so even if they still don't want to give her the title, that puts her in the main event.
But that's a big body to try to put that lock on, that Oscar lock on.
Yeah, that's true.
You might have to try something different.
So,
she got to get her down first.
Yeah, so that'll be a very good spot because like I said, I don't want Nia anywhere before this women's championship match because she should be booked as the biggest thing that Asuka has to face.
I agree.
So, but yeah, that's the women's championship. Alexa Bliss wins off of. Not a distraction, just pulling into a corner, hits the finisher, and bada boom, she maintains her title. So after this, we have another backstage incident where Kurt's backstage in the locker room, and in comes Seth and Dean. And, Kurt's trying to kind of apologize for, what got getting them into this position or whatever, and he's going to fight 100% with them, and he's gonna do whatever he can.
Why is he apologizing? He allowed all this to happen.
That's what I'm saying. He's apologizing for allowing it.
If they win, you get.
But see, now it's like Kurt real.
Added to your team. He never did anything to really try to help the Shield.
That's what I'm saying. It's like now Kurt realizes how detrimental because he's a part of it now. Exactly. So he's like, guys, yeah, I really. But guess I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna fight with y'all. And so Seth and Dean. Give this man his own Shield vest. So now he's a part of the Olympic. I don't know why you don't like that.
I think of Kurt Angle.
He's the Olympic Hound of Justice, man.
And I think of Kurt Angle.
Uh-huh.
I like to remember people as they were.
Right.
Don't try to create somebody to be something that we know that they're just not. Like, I want to see the red, the white, the blue, the stripes, the Kurt Angle that I know with the little suspenders or whatever you call it in the tights or whatever. With the medals around his neck. Like, we built him up Olympic gold medalist. He didn't even have any medals on.
He should.
Even on week-to-week episodes of Raw, just him in just regular GM clothing. Maybe let him wear his medals. That's who he is. He is the Olympic gold medalist. Let him have his attire.
Maybe that has something to do with something to him and TNA, how the parties
have. They can't control his medals though.
I mean, that's
he
true.
Won that before.
But maybe the colors. Yeah, maybe
he was red, white, and blue before he went to TNA.
I know, but I don't.
He made Kurt Angle.
I don't. I mean, I'm not saying that. I know. I'm just saying. I don't know.
I know what you're saying. Maybe it's something. Maybe it's something of the. Something they have some kind of in their contract where you go back, you can't do this.
Let me slide over before we knock this mic over again.
So it's just kind of weird for me. Especially when they gave him the vest. I'm like, so really they gonna have him.
It was a beautiful scene. It was like, hey, we're gonna fight like brothers. Here's your vest.
What does that have to do with him fighting what he has? I mean, I guess I'm contradicting myself now by saying that, but I'm just saying that was going to make him fight better because he has on.
It just showing that it was showing that
they're making it about themselves.
No, it's showing.
Still have to drive home this whole Shield, the Shield, Go ahead.
It's
I'll
just,
wait till we get in the match to really.
It's just showing that. Seth and Dean,
this whole match.
Seth and Dean are just saying that, hey, we're letting you know that
it's
there's no
you're privileged to wear.
No, it's not a. See, you're making it too arrogant.
He's Kurt Angle.
You're making it too arrogant. It's not that. It's not that. You're making it too arrogant. You're making it too arrogant, man. That's not what it is. It's them. Oh my gosh.
States champion, Intercontinental champion. They should be privileged to fight with him.
You done?
I'm just saying, man.
It wasn't arrogance. Cause if it wanted to be arrogance, we could just make them all dress up in Olympic gear. So, and it's not going to happen.
Vince would have that.
Exactly. So what it's truly supposed to be showing is the fact that we're showing.
Go ahead, man.
We're showing that we don't have any hard grudge with you. There's no bad blood. And to show that we even respect you enough, like brothers, we're giving you a part of our brethren, our symbol of our brotherhood. That's not.
I'm raising my hand.
Huh?
I'm raising my hand.
Go ahead, man.
So, do you recall last Monday night how they treated Kurt Angle when he was trying to promote TLC? And what did Roman Reigns say to him?
Get out of his ring.
No, he didn't say that. Well, pretty much he said that, but he said usually one or two things happen.
You get out of the ring.
You get out of the ring, or you get your beat. Respect. Oh, we respect you, Kurt Angle.
I mean,
we're kicking you out of the ring right now.
I mean,
even though you're the Raw general manager, you're Kurt Angle.
And also,
Kurt Angle.
And also, even though
it comes around less than 6 days later. Y'all need Kurt Angle.
Yeah, because even though Kurt Angle just set up not only a 3-on-3, but hey, we allowed somebody to add Braun Strowman to the match, and then the week later we allowed them to not only disrespect the call that he made for his no persons coming at ringside, and then going on and then adding a fifth man into the match. So I feel like it's equal between.
That's like being in the break room with the boss. When you tell your boss, you know, this is for the employees only. You don't need to be in here with us. You need to eat in your office. I mean, why are you in our break room? But then later that week, I got an issue where I won't be able to work on this day because I have this thing going on. Could you switch my schedule for me? Or is there any way you could help me find someone to work my spot for me?
This is okay. If we're gonna use that scenario, we might as well say after the boss has been screwing over this one department for the past month, and then finally the boss, they say, "Hey, well, this is our department. You've already put everything against us, so the least you can do is get out of our department."
It's your boss. You're always supposed to respect your boss, regardless of how you feel.
Okay, so the Miz can do it, and we should.
But the Miz never really yeah, I guess you're right. The Miz is always saying bad stuff, but he's the Miz.
It's okay with the Miz.
Roman never really came at Kurt like that until he got back with the Shield.
But I mean,
so you got your boys now you want to
everybody was coming in the ring. Don't make it seem like it's just Roman who hates Kurt Angle.
First they interrupted him. First he was
talking. But no, the pinpoint Roman
help you in the match. No. 2-on-5, you fight.
You overthinking this.
I know. I'm just being difficult. I'm just saying, like, all of a sudden now y'all kick me out the ring and now y'all want me to wrestle with you.
But it wasn't no hard blood about it. If that's the case, then everybody should be mad about how Daniel Bryan's been kicking people out the ring for the last couple of weeks at SmackDown. Like, he just deliberately told the Usos and New Day, get the H out of our ring. Like... but nobody thinks of him as a heel right now. Like,
but I'm just saying, man, it's Kurt Angle, man.
Oh, okay, it's Kurt
Angle. But I will give it to Seth and Dean. Seth was kind of like, hey, Roman, like, hey, you know, it's
right.
Like, so I guess I can see it.
So, and I mean, it's not like it's a total change because Roman always talks about it being his yard, regardless. And then he added saying now it's our yard, so I don't expect it to be different. Like, but
I guess it goes with the big dog and the House of Justice. You can kind of tie the yard into that.
Exactly.
But I'm the general manager. I need to be in the yard to address the WWE universe.
But it's the Shield, like you said. Like you said, it's the Shield.
That's what it is. Vince does that. Like anything for Roman.
That was a good section. Next we have Elias once again coming out to try to perform once more. Now this time the crowd is drowning him out before anything else. And he's actually going on with the crowd's like, I can't hear myself.
Oh yeah, I did. I laughed at that part.
So, but once again, Jason comes out like this.
Save your applause for the
He's like, I can hardly hear myself. So can you please save your applause?
After I'm done.
So we have Jason Jordan comes out with his shopping cart of health foods and health snacks, and he's launching them at him again, and the same situation happened. Elias gets upset. He walks out, and Jason Jordan smiles at the crowd, and that's it. That's that. Then we actually have another match. We have the Cruiserweight Championship match with Enzo Amore. Oh, wow. Wow. Looking to regain his title against the current champion, Kalisto. Can't believe you, sir. And so when Enzo came out, we noticed he lost his voice. He was very raspy.
I thought he was infected with it too for a minute there.
Yeah, that would have been bad though if he would have.
That's why I was like, is he sick too, and they're making him go out there?
That would be hurting Kalisto more than trying to make an example of him. So yeah. I feel like maybe, I don't know if maybe he's sick and we don't know.
I thought it was a good thing. I said maybe he won't talk as much.
No, he has to talk. He's the reason he's popular is
he had a little raspy voice.
He's popular because of his voice. That's the
all
thing.
He has.
And his merchandise.
That's his money maker.
His merchandise
too. The merchandise sales go.
Okay. That's like me saying like Ric Flair's promo skills. Like Ric Flair.
Without the woo, he's not Ric Flair.
So, all right, so let Enzo be Enzo.
But I'm just saying.
So it's people who are made.
Flair's not annoying. And Enzo is.
Ric Flair, at some point in time, Ric Flair was annoying.
I loved everything he did. The little strutting. He used to bounce off the ropes and do the little elbow drop on nothing. Nobody's there. He just do an elbow drop to getting up. Like Ric Flair was, whether he was a heel, whether he was face. Somebody had so much passion about what he was saying.
You don't think Enzo does? Are you serious?
Enzo just talks. I mean,
don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to compare Enzo to Ric Flair. I'm not in any way, shape, or form. But I'm just saying, in Ric Flair's era, I'm sure he was annoying in his heel character for just doing a whole bunch of talking and doing all this stuff. But in the end of the day, he's a legend now, and so Enzo
won't be.
That's because nobody likes him. In real life, nobody likes Enzo. And I'm not saying I don't know that. Enzo's...
He won't be.
I'm not saying he'll be a legend.
When you think of top 100 wrestlers, Enzo will not be in that list.
Yeah.
He will not.
He'll never be in the top 100. Unless he gets his skill sets up. Because he has the voice part down packed. He just has to become a legit wrestler. I don't see why not. Then I would see him actually bulking up and getting back into the roster, like outside of Cruiserweight. I mean, he won't get no championship, like heavyweight, but I can see him getting a mid-card title, getting an intercontinental. If he gets bigger. Now, his size right now is not going to stand a chance against somebody Finn Balor or... only person right now.
Stop trying to convince yourself.
No, I'm just saying. Outside of Cruiserweight, I can only see him beating like Curtis Axel, Bo Dallas, just squash characters. So just saying, just an idea. But anyway, so Enzo loses his voice, but he's still out there talking with his raspiness or whatever, which was I'm glad he did. He did what he was supposed to do. He kept what made him ready.
He was sick too. I was just looking like, is he sick too? And they just
right. That would have.
Hey, we can't afford to lose one more person. Let Enzo go out there. And I'm like, is that putting other people's health at risk?
That's why I don't think that.
He sounded like he was kind of.
I felt like
if he could have he could have coughed up some stuff.
No, what I felt like, knowing how they genuinely been scrutinizing him from all the negligence he's done backstage. When he said that he was partying too hard, celebrating his victory ahead of time, I feel like that actually might have been what happened. Like, I genuinely feel like, considering the storyline we have on him backstage now, I feel like, well, maybe he really did just neglect using his voice or whatever. So,
okay.
But in this match, Enzo was pretty dominant at some points just because he was doing a lot of dirty moves though. Now one thing I like is when he takes the time to do like little moves, like he has the field goal kick into the stomach, like he actually sets up, he takes the step back into the side and squares it up for his field goal kick. And then he did like a baseball pitch punch to Kalisto. So I like that part on him. But Kalisto started the match off really good. But then it just
gets off to fast starts.
Exactly.
You kind of expect that with Kalisto.
So, and like I said, Enzo kind of started taking over because he started playing dirty. And Enzo had a really good top rope tornado DDT on Kalisto.
That was a nice spot.
Yeah. So, what else? Did you have any points?
It was... I knew he was going to win because we've been saying the last couple weeks it was going to be the only reason why Kalisto had the belt. And I really thought Kalisto should have lost the belt anyway because of what he said on Raw last week. I'm going to leave out of TLC the new Cruiserweight champion. Oh, so they're going to make a new Cruiserweight belt for you? Or what do you mean?
Yeah.
You're already the champion. So just for that promo blooper alone, he deserved to lose. But I understand they built him up for the thing with the Eddie Guerrero, the tribute for the birthday thing, but we kind of figured that, okay, they're going to give back to Enzo because he is giving good exposure to the Cruiserweight division now with the heelish because they've never really had Neville was the heel, but they never had an extreme, like to the extreme heel like Enzo is right now. So it's actually fitting.
What you mean to the extreme heel?
He just always talking and saying stuff. Neville would talk, but Neville would look at you. Neville was like the snobbish heel, like a royalty heel, like a king, as if they say the king of the crew. You're not worthy to fight me, or he'd turn his nose up at you, or whatever. But Enzo like really goes in on you, like he you know how he was talking about each
roasted
and every. He roasted
division.
all of them. So it's just like y'all, you know, what did he call them? The loser weights and just the. You know, he's just really good at the heelish part of it, and I think that looks good on him to maybe try to get more exposure from the cruiserweights. Because at one point, the cruiserweight division is still stale, but it was really stale when Neville had it, because Neville just dominated everybody. Neville had that long title reign. Everybody who fought Neville, you knew the title was going to stay with him. But now he's a 2-time champion, and Neville's a 2-time cruiserweight champion, and he's won 2 cruiserweight titles faster than Neville did. So it's like you had Neville do this long reign, and that's probably why Neville wants to leave, because he doesn't want to work with Enzo like that. He's not a big fan of it. It's a lot of real life hate for Enzo in that locker room. So and you lose a talent like Neville because of it. Like Neville just kind of feels like, I really feel like there was some truth to what he said a couple weeks ago when he was like, now you get pretty much demoted down here to us, and now we have to deal with you because the people on the main roster don't want anything to do with you, and now we have to deal with you because we're in a sense not the bottom feeders, but we're just
the D League.
The D League. You're the only place that they have left for you to go. So like we got to deal with you now.
They can't get rid of Enzo.
We can't get rid of you because they know how. It's like having somebody who you know is like the most annoying person in the world, but you know that they have this one great thing about them, and you can't afford to lose that one great thing. So we have to just find a way to tolerate him and just put him over there. We can't afford to lose him. We get people complaining about him all day, every day. But it's just like the job won't get rid of him because like he does this one thing so well, and the one thing he does is run his mouth, and
that's why he's
he's there. So I mean, I don't take that away from him, but I just feel that it's unfair to some of the other talent within the cruiserweights because like the Cedric Alexanders and the Rich Swans and the Mustafa Ali's and the people like that who have really great talent. That
they weren't putting them in
define what a cruiserweight is.
They weren't putting them in the title match before.
That's what I'm saying. But they should have booked it a lot better
before
Enzo. I'm not just saying before Enzo got there. It should have been booked a whole lot better. But I'm just saying we have so much talent now that Neville is potentially leaving. Who's going to be that next person to rise to the top? Even to the fact of just throwing Kalisto in there. Where did he come from? Like, So Kalisto deserves the opportunity better than all these other guys back here to have a chance at the Cruiserweight belt.
Yeah.
And Kalisto's just been on the main roster for however long, and now you just put him in front of the line over everybody else. I know for the sake of the storyline with, everybody's banned, they can't touch me, they can't do anything to me, so you had no other choice, but I'm just like, why even go to that storyline? If you're such a big, bad person, you can run your mouth and talk bad about every person in that division, then you need to face the music of what the consequences are for running your mouth.
You mean
it's
like
the
Miz?
Cass says all the time.
You
your
mean
mouth always writes a check that your body can't cash.
You mean like the Miz does all the time?
But the Miz can back his up sometimes.
Yeah, but if that's
He'll
because
fight.
that's because he's forced
to. The Miz
to.
would never ask for thing, sign this so no one can touch me. The Miz takes his beatings. He'll talk trash, and Air Bros will come out and Dirty Deeds him or whoever he's feuding with will beat him up. Miz will take his beating.
No, the Miz does the same thing. We're not. Let's not overlook this, man. The Miz is the main card's version of Enzo. It's just the Enzo only.
But the Miz can actually wrestle.
That's the difference.
He can wrestle. He can cut a promo. He can wrestle, and he can take a beating. Or he can give one when he needs.
You saying Enzo can't take a beating?
He can take a beating.
You see how bad he was
one.
getting beaten up in the main card?
He can't give one.
Because Miz...
He can't give one. He can't beat anybody down.
What?
He can never gain an advantage over anybody.
The Miz...
Leave them laying in the ring.
For the last few months, the Miz's advantage over people has been because of his dirty moves. Like, we haven't seen Miz cleanly leave somebody in the ring lately in the past year.
He's capable of doing it though.
But he hasn't done it. So why? Let's not. How
many times he done the John Cena?
That's all right. That's when he was promoted better. So let's not.
He's capable.
Let's not bash Enzo.
We've seen him do it,
but I've
never seen Enzo do it, so I can't assume that he can.
But I'm sure he can though.
That's assuming.
Especially in the Cruiserweight division now. Not saying
why did he need those other guys to beat up Kalisto? Like,
he didn't need them this Sunday.
But I'm just saying, why did he need him Monday?
Because that's what heels do. Why does the Miz have the Miz-tourage, Braun Strowman, Sheamus and Cesaro?
Before he had the Miz-tourage, he was still
doing dirty moves to sneak. And Maurice was helping everything.
That's a wife. She's doing her duty as a wife.
Oh, that's the excuse. So we just need to get Enzo a wife then. That's it. We need to get Enzo a woman, and then we can just play it off right. I'm just saying Enzo that's all he has. How Enzo wins this match, because he does win. He gets a poke in the eye to Kalisto with the ref distracted, and then he hits his finisher, the Jadunzo, for the W. Which I love that move now. Like, I really like this Jadunzo finisher that Enzo does.
It's actually pretty decent finisher.
Enzo's the top heel. He's top champion. Top heel in the Cruiserweight division. He's top champion. He has a squad of people backing him up right now.
And hopefully now we move into the Mustafa Ali.
Enzo?
Yeah, I would like to see that. Somebody please take this belt off this man.
Nah, he's going to keep it for a while. He's not giving it up no time soon. Like he might end up losing it at the Royal Rumble. Now, unless, because of course, like you said, we know that he's legit not cared for in the backstage. So if he continues to piss enough people off, then he might be removed from it, like as early as Survivor Series. And so, I feel like you said, because they really don't like him, but they have to keep him because they know what he's doing. I feel like they're right now somewhere in the WWE corporate. They're trying to come up with an idea on how they can get rid of Enzo and still keep his quality. So maybe they're making somebody.
Let him host a show or something. Since he like to talk so much, let him do something on the network. Let him host something. Don't he do ride along or something they be having on there or something? Let him do something like that.
They're not gonna let him.
They give him something that requires him to talk all day, every day.
It's not gonna sell merchandise.
Do like a WWE recap of the week.
It's not gonna sell merchandise.
Talk. That's all he does.
So next match we have, which is probably the best match of the night. Arguably the best match of the night. say that much.
On 2 days' notice, no less.
Yep, at last minute, we have Finn Balor, the Demon King Finn Balor, going up against the phenomenal AJ Styles. So,
when I first saw this, I was like, I never thought I would see this match. Like, I knew I would see it, but like I just fall out the sky like it did.
It really,
yeah. I thought we'd have to have a super build to this match. Like, it would be on a big stage. But I'm glad we saw it, just to give us a snippet of what it could be. Now, I do think it was a really good match. Now, kudos to AJ Styles. If we can give him some applause from flying all the way from South America,
18-hour flight.
Yeah. And become a still wrestler. I think he deserves that because, that short of notice to come and do that, in a situation like that was huge. And that goes to show you that AJ Styles will do whatever he needs to do for the company. He is a company man.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing. I know to say he's wrestled in every almost big organization there, Japan and TNA, and now here to do that was huge. And I'm pretty sure there's nobody else that you could have partnered with Finn Balor that would have gave that draw to make people still watch the show. And because we've been seeing a lot of cross-brand stuff lately, even with the commentators, even with AJ Styles doing this. I like the brand split, but it's like it keeps showing you why we may need to put everything back together again eventually. But to have opportunities to see matches like this, because when people are on certain brands, you have to wait for a trade or you have to wait for a superstar shakeup to get a possibility of a match like this. So to see it, I hate the fact that Bray Wyatt couldn't reveal to us what Sister Abigail was gonna be, but I really think it really wasn't gonna be better than what they did here.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, I know Bray Wyatt is really good with the theatrical stuff and all the gloomy and stuff that he does to get over his character, but I honestly wasn't really. Only thing I was more intrigued with was just seeing how he was going to look when he came out, as opposed to actually seeing the physical match. No. But when I knew it was AJ Styles versus Finn Balor, knowing both of their skill sets, I'm like, this is going to be, they're going to bring the house down when they get in the ring, and that's what they did. And I still felt they could have gave us more than what they did. But they kind of, AJ probably, the flight, tired, took a lot of. I knew Balor would win the match. Because AJ didn't have anything to lose. Because if he would have won, I mean, it's not like the feud is going to continue.
Right.
So you got to let Balor win it. He's going to go back to SmackDown and do, get ready to fight Mahal possibly for the championship there
after Survivor Series.
So, with it, I was pleased with it. What did you think of it?
Yeah, like I said, I'm sure it was possibly, arguably the best match of the night. I like how
arguably it was the best match. Was that?
Like I was saying, Michael Cole, he said something about when they were both coming in, how both of them was a part of a club before WWE over in Japan, which is them subliminally talking about both Finn Balor being the creator and then handing his club over to AJ Styles being the Bullet Club, which, ironically enough, WWE has going into some legal situations with the current members of the Bullet Club, and they're trying to send a cease and desist for them for using the hand gesture called Too Sweet, which I would have called it more like the NWO's Wolfpack, really. But that DX and Triple H used to do with theirs. Their clique. And so they're trying to stop that Bullet Club from doing it, but mentioned how these two founders and then the apprentice, of the Bullet Club are now in the WWE. And so when the match starts, you have the crowds like ballistically chanting "Too Sweet" over and over and over. So I like that part. And
but
now,
I don't think they ever were in the club at the same time.
I don't know.
I think BALOR, like you say, he, then AJ took it and led it. But I don't think they were ever like in the group
at the same time.
From what I know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Either way, they're still a part of it. So
yeah. So now, one thing which is like a very good throwback, a very nostalgic move, is Finn Balor hitting the surfboard submission on AJ Styles, which is something I haven't seen in a long time. Which I'm glad they were able to do that again. But like you said, it was a good match between the two. They had really good rallies when they had doing the little classic crossbody into each other, but then they both got up and turned it into a double clothesline into each other. Mm-hmm. So
I'm gonna tell you, man, those little Finn Balor drop kicks are lethal, but then the little kick off the apron he does when he's on the apron and you're outside and the way it just sounds off, like I love every time he does that.
Yeah, I really like those moves. AJ Styles had a good hurricane run off the top ropes. Mm-hmm. But eventually Finn hits the coup de grace
and gets the win. Yeah, and it was a nice coup de grace, but we also saw him try to use the 1916 for the first time in a long time.
Oh,
he was back in NXT. He did that move a lot, but I don't think he was able to hit it. I think AJ reversed it or something. He did something to get out of it, but we hardly ever see him. And that goes to show you that, hey, I'm fighting AJ Styles, so I need to pull out all the stops, even stuff that I normally don't do.
Right.
But on a every so often basis, he tried to pull that move out on AJ. And AJ tried to go for the clash, I think, but he couldn't get the Styles clash. He did put the calf crusher on him.
Yeah.
On Finn. And I thought that was smart because that's working on Balor's legs, and a lot of Balor's attacks comes from drop kicks and kicks and stuff.
The coup de grace.
So yeah, he needs the coup de grace. He needs two strong legs to be able to leap off the rope and jump on top of you. And then he did the phenomenal forearm. It was kind of like a little mini one, kind of like the one we saw on Corbin. It wasn't like he flew across the ring and did it. He kind of was like, not too far apart.
Yeah.
And then he did try the 450 splash, which we know most of the time AJ gonna miss that. I hate the fact that they make him miss that more than he
actually
succeeds with it, because it's a nice move for that guy to flip like that in the air and then to come down.
Right. And that's what led into the drop kick, then the coup de grace. So
it was a good match, and I was very glad to see it. I hope to see it in the future. I just want it to be on a much bigger stage again.
Yeah.
Than it was, here. But for the sake of what happened, I understood why they needed somebody to come in. I'm actually glad that it did, because I really didn't want to see the Finn Balor Bray Wyatt again. Thank God for it. I don't thank God that neither any of these superstars are sick or whatever, but it kind of spared us. The wrestling gods saw it. They looked down. They spared us of having to see this again, and I was glad. So this one is the only match that really made this pay-per-view relevant for me.
At the end, do we have Finn Balor kind of waiting for AJ to kind of gather himself up? And, now that they're staring at each other, the crowd's still going wild. And both of them decide to do the little too sweet hand gesture towards each other. And then they depart from the ring. So I don't know what they're going to do with that. Like,
they're going to fight again.
I mean, not that, but I mean, like, this club reference. Like, we see it in WWE.
It's just kind of like the whole thing with the Hardys. It's the same thing. Like, they want to push it. They hint at it. And it's like, what are y'all doing to try to make it a trademark? And that could be what they're waiting on, like you said, to finally get the club back together. They want to make sure they have all rights to everything that is.
But they're never going to, as long as they have a relevant club on the outside. Like there's a thriving club
right now.
Exactly.
There's one out there.
So the only way that they're going to stop the outside is if they bring them in there. Like that's the only way they're going to stop that actual Bullet Club to not
well,
be.
You know, when Gallows and Anderson and AJ were back together for that little while, they just called it the club. Just call it the club. You don't have to put Bullet in it. Just say the club.
That's true.
Just do it that way. It's the same thing. I mean, we all know what it is. You don't have to say the Bullet, because we're gonna say Bullet Club regardless.
Facts.
You know, whether they say the club or, you know, whatever. It's just like, I understand the fact that there's one out there thriving and one that's actually in existence now.
Right.
But it's not the Bullet Club. It's not the AJ Styles Anderson Gallows Club. It's not the BALOR Anderson Gallows. It's not the.
But it's the legacy.
The founding fathers.
It's all it is. It's just the continuation. It's just
it
them.
Is, but it's like, okay, we're in another industry. Like, we're not another industry, but we're in another organization now, and we want to. I know it's your competition, but hey, we made this what it was, so we want it back. Do something else with those guys. Sorry. But I know it's not that easy.
It's not.
It's not. But I do want to see the club, you know, form in the WWE. I really think that would be an awesome rivalry against the Shield.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it should be.
Yeah.
But will we see it soon though?
I hope. I really do. Just to see the reference of that with AJ and Finn doing that. That just makes me want to see it more.
And see, I know they're not going to do this because they're going to have to put Brock Lesnar at the main event for WrestleMania. But I would be more hyped considering that there's the Shield. And for Roman Reigns, unless they're going to somehow break up the Shield before WrestleMania, it has to be the idea of like a Shield. I mean, I'm pretty sure Roman's going to be like, guys, I got it. I'm going to come down. Just me, the face Brock Lesnar. But now we know it's Roman Reigns of the Shield. It's not just that essence of just one man versus all that he used to do. So I would like that instead of that, you know, if they could pull this club together, and since they are tying in Finn Balor to Brock Lesnar coming down the road, that they go ahead and bring the club. And so now it's not only just, it would be ideally Roman versus Finn, but now it's the Shield coming down versus the club coming down. And so we have those little pops of everybody just brawling at here and there and stuff like that. So I feel like you would make a widespread, more, you know, intense match for WrestleMania versus just one versus Brock Lesnar. But I mean, it's Brock Lesnar. That's pretty much Vince McMahon's everything right now.
No, that's incorrect.
I mean, he has the title. He's the only person.
Roman Reigns is Vince McMahon's everything. Brock is just a person that he wants him to open. He wants Brock to be the end all be all person. So once Reigns beats Brock, Reigns is the guy that slayed the beast. That's what he wants it to be. And he's just keeping Brock there. Like, Brock, I need you to hold this belt for a year. You can come back as you please, fight here, fight. But which we have seen Brock a little bit more than we have in recent years.
Oh,
like literally, he's wrestled a lot of matches. And think about
wrestled a lot of.
I'm not saying like on Monday. He's not going to wrestle on Monday Night Raw. When he comes to Monday Night Raw,
right,
it's consistently for promo purposes only. He may get into an altercation with someone, but Brock Lesnar is not going to have a match on Monday Night Raw. It's just not going to happen. But I'm saying pay-per-view wise, he's going to be at Survivor Series. He was at, what was it before Survivor Series?
SummerSlam.
He was at SummerSlam. He was at Great Balls of Fire. He was even at No Mercy. You know, so he's been showing up to some of these pay-per-views more than he has in the past. He has. So you got to give it to him there because he's fought Samoa Joe. He's fought Braun Strowman. He's fought all three of them in a match. Roman Reigns, Strowman, and Joe in a fatal four-way. You know, he beat Goldberg. So he's been showing up and he's been fighting the big people on the roster. It's just the fact of Vince is just holding him in that spot until Roman can overtake him. I'm just gonna leave it like that.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman, and I am the advocate to justify a part-timing wrestler to perform 4 times a year.
No, it's been more than 4 this year.
Six times
Brock
a year.
Lesnar's not going to be there every pay-per-view. It's just, he's not. I know you want a champion to be there every single pay-per-view, defend the title every pay-per-view. And I think we deserve that. But when we know what it is with Brock gets paid by appearance. So imagine if he appeared every pay-per-view, every Monday Night Raw, he would break Vince McMahon's pocket demanding the money that he wants. So they set a deal like, hey, as long as you compete at these pay-per-views and you show up maybe 1 or 2 Raws building up to this pay-per-view, you're good. But I can't afford to have you show up on Raw every Monday, wrestle every Monday, then at the pay-per-view, Vince is not going to do that. Because he gets paid by appearance. So I understand saving some money there doing that, but also why put the belt on him? I mean, who else would you have the belt on right now? Think about it. Who else would be a champion right now? That would make Raw like the supreme brand.
Braun Strowman.
He's the only one, but I mean, other
Roman
than that,
Reigns.
Roman's got to overcome something to get the belt. And Brock has got to be that person he's got to overcome. Because if he's the champion now, him and Braun has already fought so much, it's like it won't even be meaningful if he beats Strowman for the title.
What? Are we serious right now?
It wouldn't. It would not. Because they fought so much. He's beating Braun. Braun's beating him.
So it's pretty much even.
It's even, but he's never beaten Lesnar.
And neither one of them have ever beaten each other for a title.
True. But that's after he gets the beast past him. Him and Strowman can feud back and forth. Because I really like because Lesnar's contract is up after WrestleMania.
I can't wait.
Because this could be it for Brock.
I hope
I like Brock being around. I like how nobody says anything to the Undertaker when he shows up.
No, it's fine. I like when him being around, but yeah, and Undertaker doesn't take a title and take it with him home for the entire year until next WrestleMania.
I get what you're saying on that, but I'm just saying we have other part-time people, Undertaker, John Cena.
No title.
They gave John the title, but he dropped it really quick, right back at the next pay-per-view. Because John's a company man, and he doesn't demand money on every appearance. Brock says, okay, I'm the big draw here. You're going to pay me. Every time I show up at your show, I'm going to get paid per appearance. I don't want to be locked into a salarized
But then give up your
contract.
title. Give up the title.
Vince allowed him to win that title from Goldberg. Vince was the reason. They recruited
thank
Goldberg.
You. And
Goldberg, you come back. I want Goldberg versus Lesnar. Lesnar's never beaten Goldberg. You're gonna win the Universal title.
And that's why I say Vince McMahon likes Brock Lesnar the way he. That's why I said.
But look at what
Brock
Lesnar
is Vince McMahon.
So weak this year. He has not been the dominant person that we've known Brock Lesnar to be.
Right.
Over the
so now we're just making and honestly,
like people have come really close to beating him. Like Joe has come really close.
So why even have this WrestleMania match?
Strowman handled him at SummerSlam,
exactly. So why even have this WrestleMania match? Because now,
because Roman's gonna win.
But that's what I'm saying. It's not even that hype anymore.
It is hype. No, it's gonna be hype.
Look at this.
And Vince McMahon's
Braun Strowman, the man who, like you said, have gone back and forth with Roman so many times, just beat Brock Lesnar to the inch of himself, where he literally had a desperation F5 to win. That somebody that Roman beat multiple times.
He's never beaten the Beast though. And the monster among men has never beaten Lesnar. So he's still the guy. He's still at the top of the food chain.
Vince McMahon's face.
He's still at the top of the food chain.
He's Vince McMahon's face. It's not. You can say it's not Roman.
Roman's gonna beat him at Mania, and then Roman and Strowman. Watch how they just go back and forth. Roman and Strowman. Then Joe's gonna be back. Joe and Roman's gonna go at it for a little while. Then possibly BALOR and Roman. You have more opportunities. Let's get Brock out of the way. Let's let him hold it. Let Roman finally overcome the beast, and then we're just going to open up so much more possibilities to Roman fighting other people once he wins the Universal Belt. And then you never know, with the draft and stuff coming up again, they're going to start shaking stuff up again. You never know who's going to come over from another brand that could open up a potential rivalry with Roman Reigns too. So I honestly feel like Cena, and Roman ain't done either. I feel like Cena's going to win the 17th against Jinder at WrestleMania.
That'll be next year's Survivor Series. Next year.
And then somehow him and AJ may get into another big thing.
No, let that be next year's Survivor Series.
And let AJ win it from him. And I think Cena's going to want to retire, and then he's going to be like, I got to do one more thing before I leave.
Win the title from Roman?
I got to beat Roman Reigns.
But then what are we going to do? If he's retiring, how would he...
I'm just saying, he's going to have to beat him.
Before we
beat Roman.
Before AJ wins the title...
win it back again from him.
Before Roman wins the title... before AJ wins the title off of Cena, let Cena go into Survivor Series, the SmackDown Brands champion. They do the best Roman. That way we could have the Roman Cena last match without any loss of anything besides, just saying now Cena can have his, I had to redeem myself against Roman, da-da-da-da-da. They play that out.
They ain't going to let that flow like that.
Yeah, Cena beat Roman, but now Roman's still the top guy with his title, and Cena can say, I evened the match up with Roman, and then AJ can finally beat Cena next year's WrestleMania, and then boom, we're done with two people. We got Cena out the way.
We got Cena out the way, and we got Lesnar.
Thank you.
Go.
Yeah.
So now,
no more part-timers.
AJ Styles can get what they deserve. The Finn Balor's can get what they deserve. The Samoa Joes can get what they deserve. The Braun Strowmans can get what they deserve.
All of them can't get what they deserve.
I mean, they can feud for titles, though. They don't constantly have to sit back and they always say, you know what? Fatal 4-way, fatal 5-way.
It's going to have to.
No, you let these people actually build solid feuds with each other.
Let me tell you how many fatal 4-ways you're going to get after next year.
If that's the case, join them back together. Don't do brands. Just put them all together on one show. That's what I think you should do. I don't like the brand split anyway. I really don't. I'm not a fan of the brand.
Oh, really? I
don't really like it.
This is a reason why the brand split is good. Technically, if you look at this whole environment and judges, because if they were all together right now, then imagine how many more people would possibly be sick. So
yeah, it's the wrestling guys talking to Vince, man. He's raining down his wrath.
Should have got
WWE people are leaving.
Yeah, people
are asking to leave. People are getting sick.
No, they just wanted to be more creative. All right, so back to this pay-per-view. We have truly a filler in this podcast as well as the pay-per-view. We finally see Elias finally take on Jason Jordan. I didn't care about this match. It was hyped up. Did he win? Did Jason win?
I don't even know who won, to be honest with you, because I didn't watch it.
Jason Jordan won, I believe. Yeah, because
I was watching the Patriots.
I believe he watched. I believe he did his whole little his little special where he picks him up and spins him into. Is he the one? No, Apollo does the
little, like a powerbomb type thing. Yeah.
So what is? I don't even know what Jason Jordan's special is.
He does like a little neck breaker little thing. Like he'll do something and he turns it to
okay.
Like a neck
so all three of them. See, that could be a good faction. Apollo has the pop up to the thing. Cedric has the pop up to the neck, to the knees, and then Jason has the pop up to the neck breaker.
No,
okay, that's just an idea.
No,
but either way, like I said, a filler match. I do kind of like this feud a lot better, even though it's still a waste. But I like this a whole lot better than Apollo, simply because they were not creative at all with Elias Apollo. Like it was to the fact that the design of the match was exactly the same for like 3 weeks straight, and that'll forever be the worst thing for me as of right now. So. Yeah, good win, Jason Jordan. I mean, I guess they did the whole thing throughout the night to try to make the build for Jason better, but by that part of the time, it just dulled down because they were kind of losing interest with the second time Elias tried to sing, so yeah.
Yeah, by the time I saw it another time and he kept throwing the vegetables at him, I was just like, okay.
Right. The first time it was good. The second time, yeah.
This is making me thinking at this point this should have been on the kickoff show.
Probably would have been a lot better. But then would you have wanted to see, what was on the kickoff show? Sasha versus Alicia?
Fox, yeah.
Would you have rather seen that than...
I think Sasha and Alicia could have been on
that filler part?
Yeah, that would have gave us a okay match. I mean, either one of them are not that great, but at that point, choose the lesser of two evils.
Yeah, I probably would have... Yeah, you at least with Sasha, you have somebody that the fans can pop for.
Women's matches on the card, and then... It's women. Wasn't it Women's Month or Breast Cancer Awareness?
Yeah, this is October's
so you
Breast
get
Cancer
more
Awareness.
Women feel for the brand,
and then you actually have a higher brand person because Sasha's way over.
Mm-hmm.
So
and to be on the kickoff show, like I think she deserves a little bit better than that.
Definitely. So now we finally get to the main event. We see The Miz come out. We see Sheamus and Cesaro come out. We see Braun Strowman comes out next. And then it's Kane comes out.
No, Strowman comes out last.
Okay, Kane comes out, then Braun Strowman. And then we hear the Shield music come on. And we see Seth and Dean standing in the crowd, looking like they're about to come down. And then out of nowhere, we see Kurt Angle right behind him with his Shield vest on. He's just as happy as I am to see this. And now we have the Olympic Shield of Justice coming down. What's the three eyes? What are the three eyes, D. Moody? It's intelligence, integrity, and
I've forgotten the third. It's something integrity, intelligence, and something. I don't know. That wasn't the Kurt Angle that I saw last night.
That's definitely the Kurt Angle that I saw last night.
The Kurt Angle that represented the three eyes last night. I saw Kurt Angle trying to be a bad impersonation of Roman Reigns.
How?
I'm gonna look up Kurt Angle's three eyes.
He solely was. All right, so let's get into this. I'll get to this. So immediately we see the Shield start to surround all five of them. Which at this time is what I felt like how I didn't like the whole setup, because them surrounding all five of them, considering that you have Kane and Braun Strowman, made it look weak for them too, considering like it's just three guys and it's as hard as they push Braun. But Seth jumps in, he just dives in everybody, and then we have Kurt Angle and Dean come in with the steel chairs, banging on everybody, taking out people left and right. Chairs. You got it? You got the three eyes?
Three eyes. Intensity, integrity, and intelligence.
Intensity.
Yeah. That's his three eyes.
Right.
And he didn't represent any of that last night.
You crazy in your head.
It's not the Kurt Angle that I grew up watching.
I'm sorry.
As a teenager.
You needed all the bells and whistles of his colors.
I needed we're hyping 11 years since Kurt Angle has been in the ring in the WWE, and what does he do? He comes out to the Shield theme.
Would you not rather want him to do all that when he has a singles return versus him?
It's not going to matter now with the singles return.
How?
This is the first time Angle's been back in the ring, so he
but this was an emergency situation.
I understand, but you still can let him come out to his own theme music in his own attire.
Did he not do that later on tonight though? Not his own attire.
He come out in his own attire.
Okay.
He needs his attire. That's what makes him who you are. That's what makes
no, it don't. Kurt Angle is what Kurt Angle is.
So that's Kurt like Hulk Hogan just coming out to
black and white,
red, white and yellow.
Black and white with the NWO.
If we say Hulk Hogan,
so
and he comes out to the NWO theme music, we're like, that's not Hulk Hogan. That's Hollywood Hogan.
But
we need the Hulk Hogan, the red and yellow Hulk Hogan. That's like him coming out to the NWO music, but he's got red and yellow on. Like that doesn't that's not the Hogan.
It's still Hogan.
He's a Hogan. But
the only reason we call him Hollywood Hogan because that was his heel persona. It was still Hulk Hogan in a different attire, but we still called it Hulk Hogan.
Him to come out to the NWO theme in red and yellow. No, right? It wouldn't make sense because
so now exactly.
But Kurt Angle, why would Kurt Angle? If we're hyping up Kurt Angle's return,
but you just
from 11 years.
But you just said it. You just said your own thing.
I said.
Because you just said you wouldn't expect if Hulk Hogan comes out in a different thing with a different group to have his original music. Kurt Angle did not come out just by himself. He's with a group right now. But it's not a singles match.
It doesn't matter.
Yes, it does.
Let him come out. That's just like the other week when the Shield came out to their, like, they had their Shield clothes on, but Ambrose came out to his own music and Seth came out to his music.
Because they're doing a tag match now.
It doesn't matter. If they're going to be the Shield, let them come out to the Shield music. If that's what we're selling you as a fan, they need to come out under that theme music.
I don't agree with you.
And the way they built this pay-per-view, well, in the 2 days that we found out that Roman wasn't going to be in it, Angle should have came out in his attire.
No, he shouldn't have.
So now whenever they try to bring him back, like we heard this morning on JD from NY 206, when he tries, it's not going to mean anything.
You're crazy. It's definitely going to mean.
It's like, he's always just Kurt Angle. You wasted a return on the Shield for him to dress up like them, to come out with them.
Because now when Kurt Angle comes back, he can be originally his package person.
He's always got a Kurt. And some people you don't stray away from who they are, and Kurt Angle is one of those people.
Crazy.
Whether Kurt Angle was heel, whether Kurt Angle was face, he always came out to his own beat of his own drum.
That's not true either.
I think he should.
So we forget that when he had that little Attitude Era bout with John Cena, how he dressed up in jerseys with chains and stuff.
That's picky. That's it for the sake of a feud. I'm saying
this is for the sake of a feud. Was this not built up between the Shield versus them for the sake of the feud? He dressed up for the feud.
No, you don't.
You just said. But now it's different now.
Of picking at Johnson is singles, like you just said. It's singles. It's 1-on-1, right?
Exactly. So now Kurt Angle, when he has his single, he can still be his single.
Like when Dolph Ziggler comes out.
No, that's different.
It's for the sake of who he's being at that moment.
That's different because even in his match, Dolph Ziggler has a new persona. He doesn't play his music, but guess what? He's Dolph Ziggler. So I need to take a moment to thank Dolph Ziggler for answering this argument right now because he showed that it doesn't need this celebrity entrance, the celebrity attire, and you can still be the wrestler. So thank you, Dolph Ziggler, because that's like
Goldberg coming
because
out
you would truly waste Kurt Angle's return if you were to try to dress him up and make him do all that tonight.
I would have done it.
That would have been a waste.
Like it's a waste. They did it to focus. Like Kurt Angle's coming back. Everybody's like, oh, okay, Kurt Angle's come back. He didn't come back to dress up as the Shield.
It's a part of what's going on.
It's not. He still.
It would have been
It
would have been a waste, man. It would have been a waste. It truly would have been a waste.
It's Kurt Angle though.
It would have been a waste.
He would have got that pop from the crowd and seeing them gold medals.
Are we literally
in that attire?
Please tell me, are we not saying that he did not get a pop from the fans this week? Exactly. You can't answer that because you saw everybody give him a pop. They even did the "You Suck" the Kurt Angle during the Shield music. So you trying to say he didn't get over with the crowd? You crazy.
His attire, his red boots, his blue knee pads, his gold medals.
Vince McMahon, that was a great idea.
It wasn't.
Yes, it was.
It was horrible.
That was perfect because you would have truly ruined Kurt Angle's 11-year return, knowing that he's not even solely going to be a main part of his single character by putting him in this 8-man match right now. So they did not waste him. They did not.
So let's say if The Rock would have joined in, do you think they'd have put The Rock with the Shield and let him come out like that?
Yeah.
The Rock would have never went for it. The Rock would have, if you smell, he'd have came out to his music. I don't care if it's a TLC. I don't care if it's a 50 versus a 50-man match. He's going to come out to his thing.
Of course, with that many people,
Stone Cold is not going to come out with the Shield.
Yeah, it would.
No,
yeah,
Stone Cold's not. Stone Cold gonna
come
out with his music.
And I can honestly say
Triple H will come out.
They would have did this. They would have split. They probably would if it was Triple H. Well, no, if it was Stone Cold, they would have.
Come out his music.
He would have still came out with a Shield. They would have split it. They would have split like halfway down. He might have done something. They would have probably played it towards the end of it. But yeah, they would have still did the same gimmick, and it still would have got over. There's nobody else that you could have brought back that wouldn't have got over in that position.
I would have never stood for it. If I was a legend like that, You gonna make me dress up like them when I made my career based off who I am,
right.
Kurt Angle?
Can we also? And I think you're missing a big thing.
I'm just saying it was for the sake of the show.
No, not even that. Not even that. We're missing the fact that the reason that Kurt Angle hasn't been in the ring before that is because WWE has been hesitant on putting him in the ring because of health issues, because of the fact that he wasn't passing physicals. Yes, it does, because now Kurt Angle's just like, bruh, just let me get in the ring. Like, WWE has been stopping him from wrestling up until this moment, and if it wasn't for the fact that Roman Reigns did get sick, Kurt Angle we still wouldn't be seeing Kurt Angle wrestle until way later, if any.
Yeah, but when he would have came back,
get out of here, man.
He would have been in his attire. Like, I feel like
get out of here, man. That was not disrespect at all. I bet Kurt Angle.
And he did the Roman.
I bet Kurt Angle agree with it. I bet Kurt Angle agree with it. Because you know why? Because Kurt Angle understands business, and that was
Triple H. You do what's best for business, and that wasn't best.
That was definitely best for business. There was no negative about that.
I didn't even agree with Kurt Angle being in the match. Like, find somebody else to throw, just like they found AJ Styles. Pull somebody else from SmackDown and put in that match.
Who will we have gotten from SmackDown?
Listen, I keep knocking the mic. I'm sorry, guys. I'm so very passionate about this. I'll keep pulling the cord.
He's just angry. That's what angry people do, is knock stuff down. That's
SmackDown Live. Who's over there? Who could have we pulled from
nobody?
Match? Remember the Rusev? He ain't doing nothing.
Rusev's a heel.
But I'm just saying.
Rusev's a heel.
Remember he was in that faction with Sheamus. Remember they were all the people in the
group? If he was in the faction with Sheamus,
and he got going to get Sheamus, that's the reason to be in the match.
But he also doesn't like the Shield. Like, it would have ended up Rusev leaving on them too.
Maybe Rusev wasn't a good person. Okay, who else could we pull from SmackDown Live?
Please, I'm waiting for this.
Who else is over there? Yeah, Baron Corbin like to beat people up. Just don't
heel.
I don't care.
He doesn't care. You're right. He doesn't care. He's not going to care about fighting to defend the Shield.
Look at the faces that's on SmackDown right now. Put Shinsuke in there.
No. No.
Put Shinsuke in there.
No.
Give Shinsuke a chance.
No. That wouldn't have fit.
I know. I'm just saying that Kurt Angle just does not deserve to be
perfect segment for Kurt Angle. Perfect segment.
Where the Big Show at? Bring him back.
Kurt Angle, he's still recovering from his surgery.
But I'm just saying, throw the Big Show in there.
No. It wouldn't have went over as well.
Well, you had Strowman and Big Show that had some nice little battles. And
Big Show is hurt.
I know. I'm just saying, if he wasn't,
it wouldn't have fit.
It would have fit.
It wouldn't have fit.
Big Show in there.
It wouldn't have fit, man.
Who else?
Right, it fit. Right, it's perfect. Because who else? Who we got on Raw that wasn't doing anything? Well, we were going to put Titus O'Neil in there. Worldwide. Like, forgive me for doing the Omega the thingy, because my grandfather was in it.
Don't Ty Dillinger in there. So he ain't doing nothing.
Really?
He's a face.
Really?
He ain't a heel.
Ty Dillinger.
I'll throw him in there.
No.
Perfect 10 for everybody.
Yeah. He would have gotten out first.
I'm trying to think.
It's nobody, man. Kurt Angle is the perfect person for this situation. And it made it even more perfect. And it also still keeps his return package sealed. It keeps his return sealed.
I see him be like, oh.
No, you won't. No, you won't.
Yeah.
No, you won't. No, you won't.
When he just had TLC.
No, you won't.
When he was trying to be the Shield.
Remember, look, hey, remember this, because he claims that. But when Kurt Angle finally repackages, he comes out in his whole Olympic attire, he's going to be just as excited, if not more, for when he comes out. Because it's going to be something totally different. Get out of here, man. You're just trying to make an excuse.
No, I didn't like it.
I understand, but it fit. It worked.
Maybe the idea of him being in the match, I just wasn't a fan of him, because I think you should save his return for something epic. Yeah. But
we're gonna have to accept the fact that it was emergency.
If anything,
it was an emergency.
Let him come out as Angle.
Either way, we have to accept the fact that
one more time before I get off this. Was it within the 2 days they kept showing the packages of who? Kurt Angle, right? in his glory days. And what did he look like in his glory days? Olympic gold medal.
Right.
He didn't look like that when he came out. So don't build the package off Kurt Angle's returning and then you not let him be who he is.
But that's dumb. That's not like we don't have a Shield vested.
Why use the video package to hype Angle then?
Because the wrestler is returning. It's still
Kurt Angle the wrestler last night.
How was it not?
It wasn't.
The only argument you have for it not being Kurt Angle is the fact that he came out with different clothes on. Yep. He still wrestled the same. The only thing he deviated
there for most of the match.
Oh my gosh!
Go ahead.
Oh my gosh!
Go ahead, see booty.
The only thing you're worrying about is because he didn't come out in your nostalgia outfit.
That should have been nostalgia. You were creating nostalgia for people.
It was,
and then you got him hyped. It's like, holy shit! They didn't come out with the Shield,
and that came out as even more hype. Because of that situation, because the fans lost their mind in the segment earlier in the night when they gave him the Shield vest. And due to the fact that this was last minute, that he was a part of it, this was the best way to include Kurt Angle into this match and still keep his Olympic package secure for when he has his singles debut. If WWE even allows it. Yeah, you will.
It's the first time. You can't have a return. You can't ever,
because it's a whole different thing now. Now we're waiting. Now we're wanting the whole Olympic design person. But once again, like I said, I thank Dolph Ziggler for making that point that he's been making in his heel character, saying that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what kind of clothes you have. It doesn't matter how your entrance is. If you're a wrestler and you're a performer, you're going to perform. Kurt Angle
wasn't there.
Kurt Angle did that. That's like, okay, so then that's like saying we're going to scrutinize Brock Lesnar for getting taken out in the beginning of the SummerSlam Fatal 4-Way and then coming out to win the whole thing. It's just as horrible then.
He came out as Lesnar. He came out as
himself. It was a singles match. It was a fatal.
It was a
four singles. It wasn't a team match. It wasn't a team match.
Two people.
It's a singles 4-way. It's a singles 4. No, yes, it was because there's no team there. It's a singles 4-way match.
It's a multi-person match.
Two people is multi-person. two people is multi-person.
Not a single match, right?
That doesn't make sense.
I know. It doesn't make sense.
What you're saying doesn't make sense. It's a team. It's a team versus singles. 4-way is 4 singles. Brock Lesnar himself, Samoa himself, Braun himself, Roman himself. This team going against each other. Good job, Kurt Angle. It was a great performance. A great return. You hit your angle slam while everybody, when you came back down, doing coming down to your music, the nostalgia that everyone.
I think they feel like they still should have gave him that. That was their way of trying to fix it on the back end. Like, hey, Kurt, you'll come out for the match, then you'll come out and under. You do that first. No. You do that first.
If it let him come back that fit, just it was perfect.
Let him stay in the whole match.
It was perfect.
That's the whole point of him replacing Romans to stay in the whole match.
It was. Perfect.
Even if he hurt, let him just lay there until he get back up. And
but I mean,
back into the match.
Okay, so here's the thing: you're going to be upset because Kurt Angle, because that was going to happen. It's a 3-on-5, so we're going to have to expect the fact that if not, you would have missed that part of Kurt Angle and had somebody, Seth or Dean, were coming back because somebody was going to have to get taken out, and it made sense for, since we're saying the return, somebody who hasn't been in WWE for 11 years, somebody who was left off of medical issues and isn't coming back because hasn't come back beforehand.
It makes sense to put a person like that in a match like that.
But that makes sense. But that makes sense for him to go out though. But that makes sense. But that makes a sense for him to get out. Like
it does. But why would you even put? If you're going to argue that, why would you put him in that match to start with?
Because
he has all these issues.
Because he was the best person to put in the match for the viewing aspect of it.
To save the what? To drive home the point of the
main event.
Shield.
The main event.
We still got to get some type of form to drive this promo with the Shield. So who else would agree to dress up like them and then fight with them other than Kurt Angle? Because he's just as big of a fan of them as anybody else. But I don't think if you ask any other superstar to do that.
You know what I realized? I realized that you just don't like the Shield.
I like the Shield.
No,
I
you
just didn't
don't.
like how they just threw Kurt Angle into that.
They didn't
Shield,
just.
You just don't give a person the opportunity to be in the Shield. The Shield is a brotherhood. Roman should be pissed at the fact that they did that.
Why?
Because that's a brotherhood. That's their brotherhood. You don't let nobody else in on your brotherhood like that.
Dude, brothers.
Like you just gonna let this dude just come in like
That means Roman should be mad at anybody who have came in.
I'm just saying you can still have them your tag partner in the match, but don't let them come out with the whole gimmick of the Shield. Like, no, that's a brotherhood. You don't break that because of a one night only.
Here comes another excuse right here.
I would have been pissed. I'd have been on, bro, what the y'all got going on?
Are you serious? I would have been like, yo, I would have called Seth and Dean. You picked the best person to come in to fill in for the brotherhood, and then I'll come to Kurt Angle and I'll be like, I appreciate you for standing for and with my brothers.
Disrespected him the other week.
I mean, they disrespected him.
You may get your
okay. So anybody else does it, we should be mad at. So I'm not. We're making excuses right now. I just make you see the things that you may not. No, I see that, but I think you're not seeing the other parts. We're not seeing the fact that they've been put into a 5-on-3 because of Kurt Angle.
So why would I want him to fight with me when you're the reason why I'm in this?
Did we not just see them make amends for everything at the early promo when Kurt was like, "Look, guys, I know this situation I got y'all in, and hey, I just want you to know that now that I'm a part of it, I will fight for y'all. I'm not gonna throw away this like anybody else would. I'm gonna fight 100%. I'm gonna give my integrity. I'm gonna give my intensity. I'm gonna give my intelligence to this match."
I probably would put him through one of them tables.
Whatever.
If it was me,
whatever.
I'm in this.
Whatever. So
but go ahead into the match.
The match goes as they're going with the table. I mean the chairs. Of course, the numbers game catches up. But the Shield and Kurt Angle's resilience sheds out of it here and there. We do have Seth and Dean taking out BRAUN and Kane as jumping off of ladders onto the announcer tables. That takes them out temporarily. Then they go after the rest of them, which is the Miz, Sheamus, and Cesaro. And then Kane gets up first. And then Braun Strowman finally gets up. Braun Strowman decides to power slam Kurt Angle through a table outside. Then it looks pretty bad, and medics or whatever comes and walks Kurt Angle out of the ring. So now it's a 5-on-2. So they're beating up. Of course, they're beating up Seth and Dean. But at one moment, they kind of spat out. They kind of get away. Kane's trying to hit Seth with a chair in the corner. Seth ducks. And it hits Braun Strowman in the back. Then Braun Strowman turns around. Kane looks like, hey, yeah, I did it, but you know it wasn't for you. But Braun Strowman pushes him, immediately drops Kane off the push. And then you see the Miz, Sheamus, and Cesaro is like, hey, guys, no, don't do this. This isn't the point. This isn't it. So they go back on, beating up on Seth and Dean. And the Miz, he's like, bring them up to the ramp. We're going to call out this garbage truck. We're going to dump these people in this garbage truck like the trash they are. But in the midst of it...
I like how you just casually... I might have missed the fact that you said Kurt Angle had to lead the match, right?
Yeah, I said that.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
How did he have to lead? What happened?
I said Braun Strowman power slammed through the table.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I thought you just ignored the fact that he was in the
match. I said that's how the numbers game, they jumped up on them, is because Braun Strowman got up, took Kurt Angle, power slammed him through a table, and the medics comes and they walked him out. So, now, back to the numbers game. They're back up the ramp. And so, Kane finally decides to start attacking Braun Strowman, I guess remembering what happened early on in the match. So, now we have Braun and Kane going at it one-on-one. And then Kane chokeslams Braun through the stage. He picks out one little segment of the stage, and you see him actually get chokeslammed, and the whole thing collapses under Braun. But Braun Strowman is still getting up. And you can see his hand coming out from the thing, grabbing on his ankle. So Kane looks up. He sees a whole line of chairs connected by this little rope. And he pulls on it. And then you have a whole flurry of chairs just falling on top of Braun Strowman. So now Braun's out the way. They can now focus back on Seth and Dean. They're fighting. They're about to throw him into the ring. They're about to try and throw him into the garbage truck. Seth and Dean kind of fight off using the garbage truck, climb on top and jump on everybody. But the numbers game gets them again. But Braun Strowman rises from the chair ashes. And now everybody, The Miz, Sheamus, and Cesaro is trying to stop him. And now he's taking them out to get the Kane. They battle at it once again. But then The Miz, Sheamus, and Cesaro, they all decide to jump Braun Strowman. Not only do they jump him, they put him in the garbage truck. And they cut the garbage truck on to throw him, like, I guess with a thing to ring it up and throw him into the midst of everything. So now he's literally in the garbage truck, like in the inside, locked in because they closed it on him. And so now they're going to get back on Seth and Dean. And they're taking him back to the ring now. They're about to try and finish him off. Then all of a sudden you hear... And then Kurt Angle comes out.
That excitement you just had when you did that?
Yeah.
I would have had the excitement when he first came out.
I
would have been so...
I was more excited when he came out there. I was more excited.
When he came out with the Shield?
Huh?
You was more excited when he came out with the Shield.
Both times.
No, I was actually more excited when he came out to his music.
Well, I knew he was coming back to his music.
But
he had to.
I just wish that in the beginning he would have came out to his
it
music.
fit. Because then you would have had it twice. Then you would have had to do it twice.
Don't matter. Anytime that music hit.
Nah. It was perfect. But so he comes out.
Nakamura did it when he was out of the TLC match. Remember when they attacked him in the beginning? Corbin attacked him and he couldn't get into.
Yeah, he was hardly in the match. That's crazy.
Out, and just like Kurt Angle.
Yeah.
And the music hit twice.
And it worked.
Each time it popped, people were like, he's back.
Yeah, I'm kind of. And you see how they've used Shinsuke.
They ain't got nothing to do with it.
No, it does. It does. No, it does. It shows how they've been using Shinsuke.
And that music come on 19 times a night. Every time that music hit, people go get it.
We see what's happening with Shinsuke over in SmackDown. So that I think that says enough.
And then I got another thing. While you were talking, I was thinking of who could have helped the Shield. Mm-hmm. The Usos.
But that would have been a 4-on-5.
The Usos.
But Miz already made his argument.
I got you, but I would have still threw the Usos in there.
Yeah, I would have rather the Usos.
The Usos, because that's Roman's cousin.
Right.
Cool with the boys.
Right.
I think they would have destroyed the boys.
No, they wouldn't have.
They would have. All the high stuff, more ladders would have been used, more table stuff would have been used. I'd put
more destruction would have been
used.
Because Braun would have just thrown them.
Like, they'd went to the Usos penitentiary.
No, they wouldn't have.
And I would have liked to see the Usos maybe come out in that clothing. Because they already black and dark anyway, so it just would have blended all together.
Right. I get it. That might be...
If it wasn't a 5-on-3.
Right. That's the only thing.
I would have threw the Usos in there.
Yeah, I like that idea. Mm-hmm. That's actually a pretty good idea.
Because then they already said they got the whole tag team division on lock. So you got Sheamus and Cesaro in there. Then the two tag team champions of both brands fighting together against them. What?
But now that you said that, it's like they're about to fight each other at Survivor Series. So it's like I'm not going to help somebody I'm about to feud with.
Same thing AJ did. You'll see when you see Raw.
But
anyway.
Hold on.
No, I can't tell you. You gotta watch it. You haven't watched it yet. You said I can't fight somebody I'm about to feud with.
Oh, because he did come back for Raw. I did see the fact that he came back for Raw. But what was that he was in?
Don't worry about it. Wait till you watch it.
He was in some kind of match this early. I remember seeing the earlier match that he fought that AJ he was with the Shield. He fought with the Shield against Who did they face?
AJ?
Yeah, AJ and the Shield.
wasn't on Raw fighter?
AJ was at Raw Monday. He was in a match.
Hold on.
Because like I said, I seen the beginning of it. It was, matter of fact, it was AJ and the Shield versus the Miz. The Miz. Was Kane in it? No, it was the Miz and Sheamus and Cesaro.
Yeah, it was.
Because they was coming out on Shane. They was coming out on Kurt Angle, and then the Shield came in to defend him, and they was like, you know what, I got somebody for the Shield to go with him, and then they brought back AJ.
Yeah, they did. You're right.
So, but okay.
I can't fight nobody. I'm a feud with, right? I'm about to feud with.
Okay. All right. So I'll find that answer. And we'll come back to this tomorrow.
You're fine.
So, like I said, as they're about to try to finish off Seth and Dean, they almost ended Seth, but Dean came out of nowhere to kind of kick out the for them to get that pin. They jump on him. Kurt Angle comes out, and then
Don't do that after you just argued against him not coming out this thing.
No, but I knew it was. I knew that part was coming.
You don't get to do that.
But I knew that part was coming, so it fit. They planned it perfectly because that still gives the nostalgia for snap, Kurt Angle's coming up to help this. So perfect timing. He comes through. He flips over He flips over Cesaro. He angle slams Sheamus. Then he angle slams Cesaro through a table. I don't know how they got rid of Kane, actually. Oh, I know why. They got Kane out of the ring, and Seth and Dean pay homage to Roman Reigns and double spearing him through the announcer. So that left the Miz in the ring by himself. He hits Yep. He gets hit with Seth's little knee to the face, into the Dirty Deeds, into the angle slam, and then in true Shield fashion, they hit with the triple power bomb. Kurt Angle even doing the little, even though he didn't do the ooh, he just kind of yelled. He did his little arms out, yelled, kind of reminiscent of what Kurt Angle does from time to time anyway. So it didn't look any different. And so it goes into a power bomb, triple power bomb, and then Kurt Angle pins the Miz for the win, and we end TLC on the high. See? Your frustration. Angry people always destroy stuff. The Miz, the Sheamus and Cesaro, BRAUN, Kane, being defeated by Seth, Dean, and a returning Olympic hero, Kurt Angle. A returning Olympic Hound of Justice. Intensity, integrity, intelligence. Kurt Angle in true fashion, doing everything that Kurt Angle always does, hitting somebody with the ankle lock, hitting his signature German suplexes. Because if we're going to do the German suplexes, we might as well call him Kurt. We might as well call him Kurt Lesnar. Then, if we're going to try to complain about stuff, we're going to say Kurt Lesnar then because he does the German suplexes.
I want to do a mashup of Roman Reigns music and Kurt Angle music together and let Kurt Angle come out of that.
I mean, he might as well come out with Brock Lesnar's too because he does the German suplexes. So I mean, if we're going to get mad, I mean, he's the only one who does multiple suplexes now besides Brock Lesnar.
I used to before he passed.
And do they talk about Chris Benoit now? No, they don't. They never talk about Chris Benoit.
Oh, reminiscent of Chris Benoit.
They don't. No, they don't. They don't.
Everybody.
Chris Benoit's name is now like banned from WWE now. No, they don't. They never. You show me. I want you to show me in any reference of a show.
Say crossface.
They don't say Chris. They don't say it. They say crossface, but they don't say Chris Benoit. Yeah, they can't.
It don't matter. No, his moves still good.
Nobody says Chris Benoit. They don't say Chris Benoit when they do that with the German suplex.
He was the only one. He did multiple suplexes.
If we're gonna be mad about somebody doing suplexes too, so Kurt Lesnar. Then if we're gonna say Kurt Reigns just because he did a power slam.
He came out as Roman Reigns pretty much.
I mean, he clearly wasn't Roman Reigns though. I mean. Anyway,
get that filler over with the Shield. Though.
You didn't though.
I'm kind of glad this happened the way that it happened.
I'm glad too. Actually,
show you the company, like show fans, this is how much Vince invests in Roman Reigns.
Clearly, he does.
An Olympic gold medalist, Hall of Famer.
Yep.
And make him come out as a member.
Clearly, we invest in Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns hasn't won a title in over a year, so we're truly investing in Roman Reigns.
Everything before Reigns.
Yeah, but Brock Lesnar is the only champion that cannot be there for over years and come in once every other month. But he's not the favorite. He's not the one that Vince is giving everything to. Get out of here! He's not there. He's there
in the waiting room, basically.
Get out of here,
in the waiting room until Roman takes the title.
Get out of here. Get out of here, bro. Whenever Brock has the contract, Brock is Vince's favorite. Yeah, we can just
they pay him per visit. You want to pay him every night to show up every.
Then why does he have the title then? If we're only paying him for a visit, he's going to get more money.
So Roman can beat him at a
get out of here.
Stage WrestleMania.
Get out of here, man.
That's all it is. They want Roman to beat him at WrestleMania.
Get out of here.
So why would you have him drop it now just to win it back for WrestleMania? Just let him just keep it all the way.
Do we not have rematch clauses for champions who lose their title?
We do, but I'm just saying, I would just rather him just keep it to Mania and then lose it, and then his contract be over, and then we'd be done with it.
Looking at, nobody can really sit here and say that Roman Reigns is Vince's sole heir as they want it to be, and ignore the fact that Brock Lesnar is going to have the title until WrestleMania constantly, and had it for pretty much the last 2 years. And it's pretty much
had it for 2 years.
Right, he's had it for almost 2 years because Goldberg only had it for that stint of time for 3 pay-per-views.
So he only had it for like 6 months.
But I'm saying he had it before Goldberg had it though. Kevin Owens, he got it. Kevin Owens,
BALOR won it first.
BALOR, then Kevin Owens won it in the inaugural tournament, the re-tournament.
Won it, and then Brock got it.
I guess I'm so used to Brock Lesnar just having the title and not being here. That's what I'm saying. I guess I'm so used to Brock Lesnar always having the title and not being there to have it, so it just makes sense.
He's only had it for 6 months, like 6 months, and out of the 6 months, he's been to 4 pay-per-views. He's only missed like 2 months, really.
What 4 pay-per-views?
He's been to SummerSlam,
Great Balls of Fire.
Great Balls of Fire.
Who did he face at No Mercy?
Braun Strowman at Mercy, SummerSlam,
the Fatal 4-Way.
Then
Great Balls of Fire, Samoa Joe.
And then he's going to be at Survivor Series.
So he's only been at 3 so far since WrestleMania.
It's going to be 4.
He's only been at 3 so
far. So it's
just
basically like...
Yeah, but with one actual or 2 actual Monday Night Raw appearances. We're not going to sit here and act like Brock Lesnar is here a lot. We're not.
I'm not saying, but he does show up. And he's fighting at the
and he should. That's what he's... He should. He's the doggone champion. He should be wrestling at every pay-per-view. The fact that he's not at this pay-per-view is a drastic fault of that Vince McMahon kneeling over to Brock Lesnar.
Joe's hurt. They could have fought Strowman again. I would have liked to see that again, maybe.
But you know what? Vince couldn't put that too much on Brock Lesnar, so he was like, I'm going to just throw you in here with the Shield because I can't hurt Brock Lesnar through this match right now. So get out of here. We're going to act like Roman Reigns is head up. Get out of here. Lesnar's not even Hollywood, has no other contract. He's already suspended from UFC, and we're going to sit here and act like he's doing something outside of WWE that justifies him to not be here every week. Come on, man. Get out of here. Get out of here. But we're mad? But we're mad about Roman? Seriously?
Roman is going to...
At least Roman's there to take it. At least Roman's
that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying I'm for it. I'm just saying, though, in spite of... You make it seem like Brock does like he goes away for 6 months and never comes back.
This is ridiculous.
Out of all of this year, he's been more... I've seen him more than I've seen him in recent years.
And the fact that we have to say that right there is we've seen him more than out of recent years.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's getting...
Because Roman actually has... Brock actually has nothing else to do right now. He literally has no other job right now.
Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, this year
I've
seen him more.
This is embarrassing.
Than I've ever seen him.
Brock Lesnar is the true embodiment that they have WWE. If anybody doesn't have any creative, it's because we have a universal champion that doesn't show up, and we just expect everybody to just be as intense about it. Like,
I'm intense every time he shows up.
That's because of who Brock Lesnar's size is, and thankfully he has somebody as good as Paul Heyman to hype somebody into whatever match he's going to come into.
When you hear that music, you know your goosebumps go across your body. If anybody deserves it, he does. To do that. Just saying. This dude has made John Cena look like a... Whew. He's made some of the best look like the worst. He's beat down Triple H. He's beat down John Cena. CM Punk. CM Punk. He's beat him down. He's beat The Rock.
Mm-hmm.
Angle, Goldberg. I should be able to show you.
Hotel, India, Echo, Lima, Delta, Shield.
This is what we come to on this show.
And the Beast Leader is still outrageous.
How?
He could beat the Shield in a 3-on-1 handicap match.
He's gonna lose to Roman Reigns though.
But I'm saying if they put him in a 3-on-1 handicap match,
It's
Brock
gonna-
Lesnar wins that match.
No, he doesn't.
Why you gonna throw Seth and then
How can you gonna lose the Roman singles, but then say you can beat the
I'm
three-way?
just saying, hypothetically, if they put him in a 3-on-1, Brock wins that.
No. Nobody's beating the Shield 3-on-1. Nobody.
Okay.
So
So you think I think Strowman will beat him 3-on-1.
he can't beat Roman 1-on-1
He has
on
beat
most
Roman.
occasions.
He has beat
Yeah,
Roman.
it goes back and forth though.
Yeah, and then to the fact where Roman has to drive an ambulance and yeah.
Wow, he did it one time. And we're gonna sit here and just act like, oh my gosh.
Everybody else gets suspended.
Kurt Angle with the Shield. This is the best part of TLC. Wow, I don't see red, white, and blue up here either. I see black with a little bit of red. That's definitely not Kurt Angle. That's definitely not the Kurt Angle I know. Yeah, it's definitely not the Olympic red, white, and blue. That's not the Kurt Angle I know right there. That must be a Shield. That must be a Shield cross picture right there. That must be a Shield cross picture.
Or
I saw.
if you have him come out in black, have him have the like what you just saw right there with the whole type, the gear. Have him come out in all black. He's still part of himself, but he's still repping the Shield at the same time.
Because of this argument that is gone completely nowhere, I changed my thoughts. That there's definitely the two greatest matches of the night was AJ Styles, Finn Balor, and this main event.
For me, the best match of the night was AJ Styles and Finn Balor.
And this was tied
lets me
with
know
it.
There's still hope for the WWE.
Well, this
guys of that caliber,
this main event was tied with it.
To where we have guys of that caliber that can carry a show that didn't have no logical booking at all.
Yep, especially
that's awesome.
Yep, it did.
Thank
it
you,
definitely
AJ Styles.
tied.
Thank you, Finn Balor. You guys are the true MVPs of TLC. Even though I know it sucks that you had to have a match of that caliber on a show that bad, but I still thank you so much for doing that for us at TLC. I really do, because that match deserves to be at a WrestleMania. That match deserves to be on a big stage, and you guys really put on a really great match. I mean, the TLC main event for me, it was so botchy. Like they tried to slam Ambrose through a table, they couldn't even slam him through the table the proper way. I mean, Kane and Strowman going at like, what's the point of putting all of them on the same team and they're not going to work together? It was just the match was all over the place.
Well,
it was a complete circus.
It was all carefully produced perfectly. They put in Braun Strowman and then put in Kane to show that there was an impending feud between that, because honestly, after this, they have nobody for Braun Strowman, and he would either have to go back to feuding, doing random squash matches on regular characters. So honestly, the true purpose of bringing Kane into this whole thing was for Braun to have a new feud with, and it kind of showed itself even before the match that was the purpose of this, because it was meant for it to implode on itself, because like I said earlier, the Shield winning against all of them fighting together showed no good outlook, especially for Braun Strowman. So this way, the way that they made this show, this actual whole outcome of this show was the only way that everybody still looked it as good as they should have. Braun Strowman still came out very strong, because it took them having to pretty much bury him not only under some chairs and him still getting up, but putting him into a garbage truck. And the only reason
not the Shield.
But it was because of the fact that, for one, both of them disagreed with each other before the match in general, which showed that this was a feud that was coming out of it. And then Kane quote unquote accidentally hitting Braun Strowman, which just made Braun Strowman push him back, and Kane didn't let that go. That started that continuation of the feud.
I see it.
So
I'm not hyped for a Kane and Strowman feud.
I might not be, but that's the best thing we're going to have for Braun Strowman. If not, we have nothing else for Braun Strowman to do right now. So, I mean, that was going to happen even if everybody was healthy. There was not going to be anything else for Braun Strowman to do. And that way, not only do we have Braun Strowman...
They're not going to have nothing to do anyway. They're not going to really be able to feud against each other because now everything is going to be based off Raw versus SmackDown at Survivor Series now.
But, I mean...
So it's like you're going to have to take a month off from all of this because you're going to be feuding with SmackDown Superstars.
Right, but now we have a feud when it's over, though. It's already set up.
Who's going to care at that point? Like a month later...
Because Arcane, but all right, here's this Arcane.
You don't know if he's.
I don't know the team, but that's what I'm saying.
I would choose them.
I wouldn't put Kane on there,
but maybe because then they might implode against each other.
Exactly.
But I definitely want Strowman on my team.
I can understand that, but I mean that doesn't mean that Braun still won't feud with Kane throughout the weeks into it.
I think we're going to see a lot
but Kane's already
crossing over shows.
I mean, we are, but I mean, Kane's already implemented that he wants Strowman, like he wants to end him because he wants to be the main monster.
Like now
it makes sense.
It happened at the worst time because now you got Survivor Series where we have to put that on the back burner for a little minute, for a couple of weeks until we get past this Raw versus SmackDown deal, and then we'll go back to that.
No, it makes sense.
I don't like.
I mean, something always implodes during SummerSlam anyway. So I mean, I can see the fact doesn't matter them doing this whole Survivor Series, and if Braun Strowman is put in it, Kane comes out to fight Braun Strowman continually. So that adds on to that, takes Braun Strowman out of that equation because Braun Strowman is still overwhelming to whatever size that SmackDown has. So for him to either not be a part of it in general, or for Kane to distract him out of that 5-on-5, is still going to continue to uphold Braun Strowman because, like I said, it's really nobody on the SmackDown side that's going to be ready for a Braun Strowman. But see, that's what I'm saying. As far as the weight, we have too many people on that side.
My team would definitely be Brock. It's not going to be Brock because him and what's this guy going to have to fight. So it's going.
If it wasn't for that, Brock wasn't be there anyway.
Every member of the Shield, Joe, and Strowman against whoever their 5 is.
I wouldn't even put every member of the Shield in.
I mean, them your guys though. Who else you gonna put in there?
I would put my 5 would be Bray,
Elias,
Roman, Joe, Strowman, and I would put Cesaro in actually.
I put every member of the Shield since we already hyped them up to be back.
I mean, yeah. I mean, off of the hype.
Joe and Strowman, that's a solid team, even though they don't like each other. That's
too much implosion.
Yeah, it might implode, but I'm just saying for the sake of just picking.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to put a team that was going to end like coincide with each other well, I would put the whole Shield. The whole Shield. I would put maybe Joe because Joe might want to help, might do it for that sake. I feel like Joe can be at least professional enough to say, "Hey, I'll do this," but after that, we're not on good terms. And then I would add somebody. I would have to add a face. So I would put Finn Balor in, just because those are people that I could feel like would work with each other, and I wouldn't have to worry about any self implosions on the team.
Last year, how Dean Ambrose turned on AJ Styles, like during the 5-on-5.
But there was something going on between that feud for that to happen.
They was feuding for the belt,
and then on top of that, you had the Shield on the other side too. So
you had Roman and Seth,
and they did something to Dean because Dean attacked them after he got eliminated anyway. He came back out and attacked AJ. So there was something going on for that. Like,
but my thing is, my 5 for SmackDown would be definitely AJ Styles. Much as I hate to say it, Baron Corbin because he's a fighter.
Right.
I would throw Baron Corbin in there. I would put Kevin Owens. Probably I would throw Zayn in there, even though I really don't want to. I would throw Sami Zayn in there, and then I would put. You need somebody big with power, so possibly. Oh no, Randy Orton's got to be in there. So wait a minute, let me do this all over. I forgot about all the new people there. So it would be AJ Shinsuke, Orton, Kevin Owens, and Baron Corbin. That'd be my 5.
That just wouldn't be my 5th man, Baron Corbin. I'll put Bobby Roode in.
He ain't on that level yet to fight against some other.
He is. They're just not using him.
They're not using him right, but that's would be my 5.
That would be what would get him.
So my
over.
5 for Raw would be the Shield, Strowman and Joe if Joe's available, versus Kevin Owens, Shinsuke, Randy Orton, AJ Styles, and Baron Corbin. That what my 5 would be. But now, it is now time for my rating. Out of 10.
Out of 10.
My rating for TLC. Three out of 10. This is a terrible pay-per-view. It really was. Only highlight of the night for me was AJ and Finn. The TLC match. I mean, we have a TLC pay-per-view that doesn't even have only one TLC match. There's no other tables match. There's no ladders match. There's nothing going up and down the card referencing TLC. It's kind of like when they do Extreme Rules, how they always have some type of extreme match going up the card to the main event. But they really couldn't do it because half of the roster is tied up into this 5-on-3.
No, they could have did a TLC on.
Like they said, I did hear Jenny from NY 206 said they could have did a ladder match for the Cruiserweight title with just
TLC. They could have just been a TLC match.
But I mean, what could have you done for the women's match?
Could have still done TLC.
Nah, I couldn't see that with Mickie James and
I mean, you just wouldn't get any like random intense pops off of the ladder.
A random Elias and Jordan spiel that just continued throughout the show that I didn't care about. They didn't build Asuka the way I thought they were going to build her. The Cruiser had 2 Cruiserweight matches in here that anybody else could care less about. And then the only 2 matches people were really interested in was once they found out it was BALOR and Styles, and then the main event that just didn't really, to me, it was just all over the place for me. So TLC just was not a good pay-per-view for me. But I'm so grateful for AJ Styles and Finn Balor. At least we got one solid match in the entire show. Now, I do know the meningitis thing affected this whole booking of how it was supposed to go. But I did not want to see the Bray Wyatt versus Finn Balor thing anyway. And then at 5-on-3 might have been a little bit better with Roman in there. I was kind of just, it makes you wonder how it would have went. I still think the Shield would have won. I think I still picked them to win it regardless. But I just was not blown away by this pay-per-view.
My ratings out of 10. Seven. And I want to go. I'm actually going to go.
Walking off the set.
I'm actually want to go as high as maybe saying a 7.4.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
What?
For one,
what show did you watch?
I watched Tables, Ladders, and Chairs.
What show did you watch?
And the reason I have it at a 7 is because, for one, like you said, it was a TLC program without a legit actual TLC match.
Points taken off.
that's most of the points taken off. That's why.
And you like the way they build Asuka? You like the way they build Asuka?
I like the match. I truly like the match, and despite the fact that I know Asuka was supposed to be very much stronger in this match, I like how I like how Emma came out. I really like that, and that made the match look better to me. Like I like that match better than me imagining Asuka squash her for 5 minutes. So I actually like that match. I truly actually like that match between them. I was pleasantly surprised by that.
If you see one in NXT, you would be blown away.
I have to see that.
Please watch
the Cruiserweight tag match, which is always a good match for cruiserweights for me. So, I mean, I was not disappointed at that Cruiserweight match at all because, like I said, the Cruiserweight always delivers. The Women's Championship match was a decent match. It wasn't the best match. It definitely wasn't the best match on my card. And if I had to, like, go from top to bottom, this might actually be the second worst one for me. The second worst, being the Jason Jordan Elias match. Then this would be this one. But it was still, like I said, a pretty decent match. The Cruiserweight Championship match I liked because I like Enzo. And even though he's not a good wrestler, he does well at being dirty. So I really like that heel persona of him. He's no different from any other heel persona that we've seen coming out, regardless of whether we say wrestler or not. The Miz has been just as dirty, if not dirtier than he is, because at least
hate them in the backstage.
At least Enzo can be dirty by himself. For the last year, we've seen the Miz be dirty and have assistance, whether it's being from Maurice, his wife, or now the Miz Taraj, and up to now adding the It Bar and 2 other people with him. So, despite the fact that we do know, in contrast between the two, Miz can wrestle. I was about to say can wrestle. But he's been dirty. And Enzo's now dirty, and Enzo looks good being dirty. So that works. That was a good match for me. I actually like that one. That would actually be possibly my 4th best match. So like I said, if I had to list it from top to bottom, AJ Styles and Finn Balor was the best match for me, of course. It was just a really good singles bout between the two. Then it would be the main event with Kurt Angle's returning. I loved his performance with the Shield in the midst of everything. I like how the implosion showed the underlying feud between Braun and Kane coming up, which gives Braun something to do, thank God. And that was my 2nd best match. Then 3rd would be the Asuka Emma match. 4th being the Cruiserweight match. Then to the Cruiserweight tag match, then Jason and Elias. No, then Mickie and Alexa, then Jason and Elias. So yeah, I'm actually drop it though. I will give it a 6.8 because the fact that it's not an actual TLC match and it really does bother me. But to say that there was no tag team championship match, to say that there was no universal championship match because Vince McMahon's baby. For whatever reason, but I mean, we're gonna get mad about them putting 2 championships in a match, but there's no purpose for Brock Lesnar not being there, and we're just gonna overlook that. That's crap to me. So,
who would Brock would have fought if he was
somebody. Well, it's saying we could have not put Braun Strowman in this little spat, and we could have had them rematch again. When since Kane was back, we could have actually made Kane versus Brock. I don't care. I really don't care. But the fact that we're going to be mad that because they made this main event that took out the Intercontinental Championship and the Tag Intercontinental, it's only 2, and we're going to disregard the fact that Brock Lesnar's but that's crap. So how can we be okay? No, that's hypocritical for us to be okay with Brock not being there at all. Yes, that's hypocritical. That's hypocritical. But that's hypocritical though for us to just be like, oh, it's fine. They don't have Brock, but then they take out 2 other championships, and now we're supposed to be outraged. No, I'm not going to be hypocritical of that because that was a good match. That 2 matches were good to me. Those 2 matches that they took out, the tag match and the Intercontinental Championship, was filled by a good main event. And I don't care what you say. As long as they don't have Brock, I'm not going to be hypocritical on them removing the other 2. So that's why it's a 6.8 to me, because it was a good performance. And so we need to start taking into consideration every aspect. If we're going to be penial on little things, we need to look at everything else.
I do agree with you about the fact that Universal Champion needs to be present, but it's the way they're booking it. I mean,
so again,
it is.
If we're going to be mad at booking,
regardless of whether we complain about it or not, it's going to be there.
Okay.
But the thing is, though, when the main title's not there, we have never seen a pay-per-view where the only championship was defended. I can never recall any pay-per-view where no championship was defended but the women's championship and the Cruiserweight title.
I mean, we just brought the Cruiserweight Championship back after years now, too.
So if there was no Cruiserweight title and we always kept the Cruiserweights on their little thing, then the only thing we would have saw tonight, we wouldn't have saw the 2 Cruiserweight matches that we saw, and then we just would have just saw a women's championship match.
Yep. Because Brock Lesnar wasn't going to be there.
Months ago say, man, where's the Intercontinental title? Where is the Intercontinental title? This needs to be defended. This needs to be. Maybe we could have saved this Shield reunion, but I understand they want to build it around. Okay, they debut at TLC, so the 5-year anniversary of the Shield, they're going to come back together at TLC. But maybe we could have pushed this down the road a little bit. Maybe have Roman and Miz just feud for the IC title, and then maybe you could have had Braun, because Roman didn't have anything to do after John Cena. So make him and the Miz feud, and then have Strowman and Lesnar fight each other one more time at TLC, so that you have the Universal title there. And then Seth and Dean, I don't know if you have them fight Sheamus and Cesaro in a ladder match or a TLC match or whatever. Maybe do that. So then your card is full. But at this point, Brock does play a big part in it. Like, hey, he's not there, so we know there's not going to be a Universal Championship match. Okay. So then now, Miz ain't going to defend his belt against anybody, or the tag title's not going to be on the line. WWE should not be in a position where they have to throw everybody in one main event. Brock is a big part of that, but Brock can only do what Vince allows him to do.
No, Vince can only do what Brock allows him to do.
I think it's the other way around. I think Brock will do what Vince asks of him, but I think Vince kind of goes against the grain sometimes. Just like, okay, no, we're just going to focus this pay-per-view on bringing the Shield back, and Brock, you'll come back at
Get out of here. We just said that Vince is paying Brock per show, and we're going to say that it's based off of Vince?
I think that's to save money. Because, if you're a billionaire, and I know you want this amount per show, I'm going to limit you as much as I can. Because I don't want to invest all this money in you. For one, you're not making me you're making me money, but you're not actively wrestling on these shows. You're just appearing. That's just like a big club promoter promotes this big rapper coming to his club, and the rapper just comes in and walks around 2 times and then he leaves. And he gets paid bank for just showing up at
That's what happens when you pay somebody per appearance versus just putting them up there.
Vince had to agree to do that.
Yeah, but
Brock probably proposed that.
No, Brock probably said it's this or I'm not doing it. Like he's been doing. What you mean?
Well, then we've seen Vince throw other people out. Look at what he's done. Hold his ground with CM Punk. Look at what he did to Bret Hart. We've seen Vince hold his ground against certain superstars.
No, that's because
I'm not doing that.
Because Vince don't like them. Vince didn't like CM Punk. Plenty of times CM Punk broke some barriers. Plenty of times Bret Hart broke some barriers. Brock Lesnar hasn't broke barriers. Vince is fighting to keep Brock Lesnar. Let's not overlook that. But you're trying to say that Brock Lesnar is abiding by Vince's rules. It's the exact opposite. That's the only reason why we have this whole situation with Brock Lesnar.
He's abiding by what their agreement is.
Get out of here. And the agreement was made by Brock Lesnar by either saying, because it was either that or no Brock Lesnar.
Okay, goodbye Brock Lesnar.
Okay,
what has he really done?
But that's the thing. Vince does know. Vince has enough common sense to know that Brock Lesnar being there is going to make him money. But Brock Lesnar's not going to agree to be up there. He's going to be like, I just want to be up there any show I want to when I feel like coming, how I want to, and he abide to it, which shows that Vince is abiding to Brock Lesnar. So if anybody's going to say that Vince has got some little favorite or face, we have to look at Brock Lesnar for the fact of the matter that he won't appear unless he wants to appear. And he can hold the title while he does this. So get out there. So and that's hypocritical. And going to this TLC, okay, we don't have the tag team title match. We don't have an Intercontinental Championship. But that at least made sense. Why? Because we had to have the Miz for somebody to start some kind of faction to bring back the reoccurrence, to bring back the Shield.
Defended the title, and there was no Intercontinental Championship match, and Brock was on the card.
Right.
So why wasn't the IC title defended on that card?
No, that's just Vince's booking. But Vince, no, it's not. No, it's not. Because the only reason,
strong arm in a deal like that. And I feel like as a man, you put yourself above the company. So Brock, regardless of how much I'm gonna lose, you need to walk, brother. Because I'm your boss. You're working for me. I'm not working for you.
Yeah, Vince wants money, though. You have to understand money works and stuff like that. So what else
did he do?
So Brock Lesnar is going to bring you more money than putting Intercontinental Championship. And you could say there's times where the Intercontinental Championship wasn't booked or whatever, but there was that time where the
The
Intercontinental
Miz was
the Intercontinental Championship wasn't relevant as it is right now. And even now, it's not even that relevant. The Miz makes it relevant by how he complains about it. There's no real relevance to the championship match. So to say that, he's favoriting or eliminating other championship matches, I mean, it's going to go by how relevant it is. This is why we have
Cruiser. To be relevant, you got to defend it.
I mean, or
you got
to
see it. We have to see contests for it and build like true feuds.
But they don't, because he had to speculate everything around the times where Brock Lesnar appears. So I mean, what else do you want the man to do? So I mean, that's once again, man, it's just hypocritical to me, because at least this one we understand, because the Miz had to be used to bring back the Shield, and now it's the Shield fighting them, and it's the only downfall to that was the fact that we lost a tag match in the Intercontinental Championship match. But the match that came in spite of it was a really good performance, and we have just no reason why there's no appearance for Brock Lesnar other than Brock Lesnar's reluctancy to show.
Yeah, I agree, but I mean, I just know how it is, so I'm not even gonna lie.
But you don't seem like it.
Because I'm just saying it from the perspective of Vince allowed this man to strong arm him into this deal. So Brock is only doing what he is supposed to do. Okay, you agree to this. So if I don't want to show up at TLC, I'm not showing up at TLC because we had an agreement on it.
So that justifies it over with being upset about an Intercontinental and tag match that everybody was still wrestling though?
If you know your main title is not going to be on the show, you need to have some type of championship match. So
we had two.
It's TLC. You could have had a ladder match. Like, I really wish they would have continued this Jeff Hardy Miz.
Jeff Hardy's hurt.
I know he's hurt, but I'm just saying, if they would have continued and he didn't get hurt, this would have been a great segue for an Intercontinental ladder match.
And it might have if he wasn't hurt. But
if
we have to take into consideration of stuff that we cannot control. And they played off of it. And they played off of it well from what they did.
Even without the meningitis thing, if I were to rate this pay-per-view, I probably would have been a 5 or a 6. There's no way I can give it a 7. There's no way I can give it an 8, just because of just the booking of it itself, just the way it's been going. TLC it was a little of excitement that the Shield was about, but that's what this whole pay-per-view was for. It was for the reunion of the Shield. It wasn't for anything else. That's what it was built off of. So why would you need Brock there when you're trying to build off the Shield? And this is something that you wanted to see. So you got what you wanted to see, even though we didn't get to see Roman in the match with him. But you got what you wanted. You got the Shield. You got it.
It was a good pay-per-view.
And somehow Angle gets thrown into it. And the only issue I had with Angle was that he didn't finish the match. He finished it. He came back. But I'm just saying, he didn't come out to... The way they were building it to me over the past 2 or 3 days was just like, hey, Kurt Angle's returning. I'm seeing all this video package of him being the Olympic gold medalist, and I see Kurt Angle as a member of the Shield.
It was a good pay-per-view. It was a good pay-per-view. Kurt Angle, the character, came out awesome. He came out even better when he came back to his music, and it was just an all-around good performance for Kurt Angle. I'm glad to see him back, and I hope WWE can maintain and use him later on. We weren't going to get that this pay-per-view.
I'm just saying.
I just know you didn't hear it this pay-per-view because he decided not to be there. So, I was glad what we had in spite of Brock Lesnar's.
I thought they were trying to do the thing with Jones Bones, but whatever his name is. But it looks like he got in more trouble with UFC and all this other stuff. So maybe that didn't go through. Maybe that's why they didn't book it, because they potentially thought he was going to go be preparing for UFC at this point. Yeah. So I didn't think you were going to, because you heard me say I didn't think we was going to see Brock Lesnar till January for Royal Rumble. I said Brock won't be back to Royal Rumble,
and we accepted it too.
And I accepted it because that's what Vince agreed to. When you agree to something, you have to stick to it. You have to stick with the good and the bad of it. So you can't complain about it if you agree to it, which I'm pretty sure Vince isn't complaining about it, because that's his agreement that he made with that man. So we have to suffer as fans for it. It's not fair to us, but that's way above our heads that we don't have any say in that.
But I'm saying
bashing the pay-per-view, like, yeah, we didn't see any other title matches. That's just one thing, because like even in spite of the main title not being there, a lot of times we do see other titles be defended. That's the only thing I'm saying. And the thing with bringing Kurt Angle back was just let Kurt Angle be Kurt Angle, and then that's who he's been his whole career. I just don't. The Kurt Angle that I know, I just don't see him being a part of something that, regardless if it's for one night or for 30 minutes, I just don't see that.
My takeaway is there was a great strategy by bringing Kurt Angle in as a part of the Shield, considering that he's coming in as a part of a whole different scenario that isn't really focused or isn't really going to strengthen Kurt Angle's appearance returning, if it is going to be like the dawn of his actual return. And it makes it so when he does return in his Olympic gear and with his medals, that it'll still be fresh and it'll still be just as impactful when he returns as the red, white, and blue Kurt Angle. And I like the package that they had, because everybody else, either way that those titles would have exchanged hands, would have been in between everybody that was involved in that main event that night. So it definitely still maintains the card of those two, in spite of it being the fact that there is no title match, and specifically, and being the fact that there was no actual TLC match. I do agree with that. I do. I don't like that part.
So it's like you build a TLC pay-per-view off one tables, ladders, and chairs match, and we only see this once a year. Mm-hmm. So it's like there are already no titles defended, so we already know going into it there was going to be no titles defended. So why not have other matches that impact the TLC format? Just to try to do something to get exposure for this TLC pay-per-view.
I agree with that.
So, I mean, you got to get creative with things sometimes. They couldn't control the meningitis. They couldn't, knew that was going to happen. So, you got to try to think outside the box with certain things. Maybe put the titles up there, like you said, with Roman and them, and, the tag titles of whoever wins, and they get the belts.
But I can still say, in the midst of it, I only saw one match I didn't want to see. It was only one bad match. Every other match was either from decent to matches that I wanted to see, which four of my top is pretty good. So
BALOR and Styles for me. That was the highlight of the night.
That in the main event.
If BALOR and Styles didn't fight tonight, I will be honest with you, I probably would have not watched as much as TLC. Because most of it that I watched was just waiting to see, okay, is BALOR and AJ going to be
coming in this match?
They're going to be coming in. When is their time? So I'll know to be here, because I want to catch it from beginning, middle, and end. So that's why I'm sitting here looking, and I'm watching the football game. I'm like, okay, is it time? No. Okay, is it time? Oh, AJ Styles and Finn Balor coming up next. Okay, I'm not worried about that right now. I'm focusing on them right now, because that was perfect.
It was a great TLC.
3 out of 10 for me. And you said 6.8 out of 10.
6.8 out of 10. And that's just because of the no actual TLC matches, the lack of it. But it was still great matches for me. So that is, I think we've battled enough on this idea.
Yeah, we battled today. We really did. Like, we truly, this is probably, since we've been doing this, we battled on this, because it's not a good show to me.
It was a good show.
I was a fan there. I want my money back after the day. I want, y'all give me half of my money back, because y'all gave me not even half of a show.
Wow.
Give me money.
I would have been satisfied if I went.
Probably after the BALOR Styles, I'd have been like, I'm ready to go.
If I would have been there.
Then you follow that up with Seth, Elias.
I would have went to the bathroom.
Jordan.
I would have went to the bathroom and got my food there. All right.
Go ahead and go.
Nah. That, once I saw the AJ.
This on the network, we can get home and beat the traffic by the time we can see the end of the day. We can watch this anytime we want to on the network.
Nah.
We know it's going to be garbage. That's why the garbage can truck came out there.
Whatever.
Because it was a garbage paper.
It was a great.
Then you put Braun Strowman in the truck. What purpose does that serve? So it's
because
Strowman, if anything,
because
he
that
should
killed.
come back and want revenge against all of them, because all of them put him in the trash.
Yeah, definitely.
Not just.
But see, that's a good plug for him, and that kept Braun Strowman strong. That really kept Braun Strowman strong by doing that. It's the only way that they can now stop him, because now Kane has pissed him off, and now he's coming at him, and Miz, of course, is trying to keep his group alive. So now they're trying to subdue Braun to maintain still winning. So that made sense. And now, like you said, he's going to feud with Kane, and either they're going to feud with Kane, him and Kane are going to feud long enough so that he just ignores the fact of the Miz and Sheamus, because WWE will do that, kind of just let other sub-feuds fall to the wayside. Or he comes back on a path of destruction. You see backstage he took out the Miz, or he took out Sheamus and Cesaro, and then he's like, I'm coming for Kane now because he's the one who started this. So it sets up a whole bunch of stories that can happen now, and I'm glad that they're at least making storylines.
At least 4 weeks to get to, because all this pay per view is built off SmackDown versus Raw. SmackDown versus Raw. Shane gonna be on Raw. Angle gonna be on SmackDown. They're gonna be. I would be surprised Stephanie even popped back up. You know, we haven't seen her in a little while, and she's supposed to be the commissioner.
Oh yeah,
so
yeah, she should. She should come back. I hope so.
She should.
To be the McMahon.
And then it could be a thing where they lose the pay-per-view at Survivor Series, and she blames Kurt for everything. Like, this is the second straight year in a row we lost the Raw and this. You know, and it creates a feud with them, and maybe somehow pull
Triple H into the Angle feud.
Yep. And then Triple H, maybe like they kind of rip Angle from being the GM, and then he goes back, I want to compete, and then they put him and his son through hell, like the Authority used to. Yeah,
I like that storyline.
Mm-hmm. And then Triple H beats up Jason Jordan, and like backstage or whatever, they beat his son up, and then Kurt, like it just whatever it takes to get Kurt to that level. And I would like to see him and Triple H go at it one more time.
I like that. But if there's a chance I can see the Raw Triple H, I feel like I would want to see that first.
That too.
I would want to see that before I see Angle Triple H. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, I'm just saying that's what we could see. But I'm just saying right now the sole focus is not on the feuds, we still have filler matches and stuff, but they're going to be mainly focusing on Raw and SmackDown. I think they should cross-brand it, like have certain matches on, just for this month, have both all the superstars on each show. And then instead of doing like the invasion type thing, like have cross matches.
I like the invasion too, though. I like the invasion. They should keep that and still do have the
like cross matches, like how we saw AJ.
So now, like let's say similar instance, we have AJ fighting like on SmackDown. AJ might fight Finn again, but now the invasion part comes, and now Raw might comes in to beat up on AJ Styles, and then allow the invasions come.
Yep.
So
we'll see how it goes. TLC is in the books. So we're past that now.
we moved on now.
Moved on. I hope you guys enjoy it. We're going to have it posted on Twitter probably a little bit later this afternoon. And let us know what you think of the review. Thanks for all the support that you guys give us on Sports Moods and whatever social media avenue you choose to follow us on or listen to us on. We do appreciate all of the feedback you guys give us and all the support you give us. Tomorrow we'll also get ready to do another episode of Sports Moves reviewing the week in the NFL, college football, NBA, moving toward the World Series with baseball and some other sports things that's going on. C. Moody, anything you want to add?
No, sir, man. That's it, man. Like I said, we appreciate everything. The people who do view, people who do follow. On Twitter, make sure to follow us at Sports Moods. Mm-hmm. On Instagram at @SportsMoods. The video will be posted to Facebook, Twitter, Spreaker, YouTube, and now iHeartRadio. So we appreciate everybody from listening. Maybe we might start doing a visual podcast sooner or later. Mm-hmm. So
that could be something we could do.
So, but we have to work on that. But until then, as always, it's been a pleasure. I've been C. Moody, here always with
D. Moody.
And we are Sports Moods. 2 Moodies.
1 duty.
Sports.